It's back to a fast, intermediate-style speedway for the Icon Cup Series in Week 10, and Dover could reach out and punish any driver who makes any mistake at any time. With every passing lap, every passing race, points get more and more important, meaning you'll need to mind Miles the Monster tonight to get out with a positive result. Welcome to Pit Stop TV, the virtual Dover, Delaware. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV, and it's a pleasure to join you for coverage of the 2024 Icon Cup Series. Tonight's coverage, of course, brought to you by Whiplash SimCams, ATVO, and CC's Business. It's race 10, as mentioned, and with Talladega in the rearview mirror, Kansas coming up next after Dover this evening. This is going to be a painful racetrack for some, rewarding for others, and the balance in between the two is what's going to make this race so good this evening. It's going to separate the men from the boys, if you will. Dover is always just that kind of racetrack, always exciting to go to, and it still says Dover International Speedway, but it is Dover Motor Speedway now, with that rebrand recently after being acquired by Speedway Motorsports Incorporated. A look at the track map. Dover, Delaware, just about as oval racing gets. Perfect, a perfect oval. This place is just about perfectly symmetrical. 1 mile in length. It's got the horse track in the middle. That's about all there is to say about it. It's a tough racetrack, though. It, of course, has the high banks. It's concrete. High banks even on the straightaways means it's self-cleaning. If there's a crash, even on a straight, cars will go down the racetrack as opposed to going up or whatever. Very, very fun racing here. I'm just never any good at it. Let's take a look at point standings, though, as qualifying opens up behind us. You'll see some fast times come across, but for the Icon Cup Series, point standings heading into round 10 look like this. And if you were to reorder these guys for the championship playoffs coming up, Brian Smith would have that top seed because he won at Talladega a week ago. Nathan Finnegan, though, with the most points so far this season, despite missing a race last week at Talladega. Vincent Loria is right there in the top 4 now. Timothy Harper, Michael Milfelt. There are 2 race winners that are kind of falling behind a little bit. This could be a big race for each of them to move up and get back into the conversation in the top 10. And look at the cut line. Kevin Gunther, who's been in the top 10 most of the season to this point, he is now just 3 points to the good. Justin Bissonette, who's been in the top 12 or so most of the season, now 3 points out. Justin Michael getting closer and closer to being back in the top 16. Michael Jennings still trying to get there. Definitely a lot going around that cut line. It might move a little bit slowly at first, but we're going to have some very, very interesting moves around that cut line very, very soon. A brief look at the schedule as well. You'll find that we are, as mentioned, in race number 10. We're racing for 240 laps this evening. Next up, we head out to Kansas Speedway, 160 laps there. And you see the qualifying times are rolling in, so we can go ahead and, well, head down for qualifying. Cars are going fast and going in circles, trying to go fastest and start on pole position. So far, Vincent Loria is the fastest of the bunch. Here's a look at Nathan Finnegan. As he is in the pit lane, his run is completed. Hanover Fist, though, still on the racetrack. We can jump on board with driver 69 and even take a look at weather conditions because, as you can see, just like at Talladega a week ago, we've got fog to start the day. 66.3 degrees in the air, 96 on track, and Hanover Fist will complete that final lap of this qualifying run. Now here's Cody Neal down the front stretch. He'll begin his run. We do have that new driver in the field this evening, car 55, Corey Harville, making his first start of 2024 with the Icon Cup Series. And here we go, Cody Neal out of turn 4, still looking for that elusive first win. Across the stripe, first lap of 23.5, that's going to net him 23rd position. Pole so far, a 22.849. And if Cody can beat a 22.16, he'll be, or a 22.14 rather, he'll be in the top 10. The stripe there, he got the fence and will go no faster, so Cody Neal will, oh, it did count. I thought he popped the fence. That'll count for 4th. A 22.993 for driver number 4. I thought he got the fence out of turn 4. I'm mistaken. But here's Jacob Gladulich on the racetrack now, car number 14. It looks like he's the only other driver that's going to attempt a qualifying lap. A bit free there out of 4 as well, but a 23.14 just might put him in the top 10. Yes, position 10 for driver 14. He will beat Justin Bissonette for the top 10 spot by 1/1000th of a second, who is ahead of Kyle Purcell for 11th by 1/1000th of a second. Looks like that'll do it as far as drivers attempting a qualifying lap this evening. Nobody else willing to get in the car and go rip around the racetrack for a lap. We can go ahead and talk about Whiplash SimCam's race details. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a fuel estimate this evening, and if somebody's willing to chime in and give us a fuel estimate, that'd be great. Unfortunately, just didn't get the time to sit down and run a run and get that fuel number, but I would certainly appreciate any kind of info that you may have. Otherwise, it's a 240 lap race, 72 in stage 1, 78 in stage 2, 90 in stage 3, relatively equidistant. The strategy won't change a whole lot unless the fuel number is right around that 80 number, but really I don't see much differentiation between the stages. Incident penalty coming at 24 incidents, then 9 incidents afterwards. Of course, there's those 5 change sets in the pit lane, no fast fix, and that 60% fuel load. Again, I'll happily take insight that I unfortunately wasn't able to run it, and now we're seeing in the YouTube chat, thank you Sean and Anthony, about 50 to 60 laps, which means these are pretty well straight up. You just have to pit and get to the end of the stage, which makes a lot of sense. So in terms of fuel and fuel strategy, it's really just pit at some point. It comes down more to the tire strategy this evening, which is often the case with these 60% or 40% or 50%, whatever fuel load leagues. As long as the stage isn't going to be in the way, it's kind of just a matter of how you manage your tires throughout the course of the race. See that here again this evening. While warm-up happens behind us, let's talk about what's upcoming for us at Pit Stop TV. After this evening, this is what you can expect. We head out in 1 week's time. We have the week off. We can kind of calm down, relax a little bit before we go to Kansas Speedway and head to race number 11 for the Icon Cup Series. Then, unfortunately, for you Icon drivers, we'll miss Darlington being on Mother's Day. Just doesn't quite align with the family kind of schedule, but that's okay. In the meantime, we'll be going to Caffeine and Octane Linear Raceway on Thursday, May 9th for the Sarah Pierce Fleet Service Super Series. That'll be their championship crowning event. And the week following, we'll actually be headed out to North Wilkesboro Speedway with them, matching the Cars Tour that week. They'll be running at North Wilkesboro in late model stocks in a very similar style event. We can go through some of the cars that are on track this evening and see who's got what paint scheme. I didn't see too many new paint schemes in the field, but I know Anthony Teseo tends to paint himself something new each week. So we'll start with car 15 as he's been in the YouTube chat. Here it is. Bit of new paint on that Ford Mustang. And the league Discord isn't, well, I think it's maybe representative of some drivers asking in the race chat maybe that are a little concerned about the fog on the racetrack. It's not too bad. In fact, it's already lifting, but it is set to lift within the next 20 minutes or so. It should be relatively negligible as Mike Jennings goes fastest now in warm-up. Corey Harville, brand new, at least in 2024. There he is. Still needs to get the Icon branding on that car, but car 55 does look good. Zach Lockett's got his same purple GOAT diecast Chevrolet, looking around the field a bit more. Joshua Clemens in some pretty similar, familiar colors. Nathan Brzezowski, same thing there, Premier Security on his Chevrolet. Justin Michael, of course, no change there for the Back Road Bandits. Oh, here we go. We've seen this paint scheme, I think, once earlier this season. Michael Milfelt Jr. maybe not getting that paint changed over like the rest of his teammates, but that's okay. A little nod maybe to Ken Schrader. Daniel Nyman is back in the field this evening. Haven't seen him in a week or two. So with a minute left in warm-up, I know Zach Murtis is out there watching. If we can get a big happy birthday to our very own Zach Murtis Yesterday was his birthday. I don't know the number of year. Maybe it's 24 to match his all-time favorite driver. No, you know what? It was 23. Next year, though. Next year, he'll match his all-time favorite, Jeff Gordon. But a big happy birthday to Zach Burgess. Not here with us this evening. I think still celebrating a bit. But very, very, very happy that he could celebrate his day. I know he went go-kart racing, I believe. Did some fun stuff. And, yeah, I think still celebrating this evening. We'll have him back, hopefully, next time out at Kansas. Another cause for celebration, Car 6 is back in the field this evening. Nathan Finnegan last week, we missed him. He was actually out getting married, so congratulations to the Finnegans now. And that's that. A warm-up coming to a close. Also, in these last few moments before we go racing this evening, call your shot. Who are you pulling for? Who do you think wins this race? Who goes to victory lane when it's all said and done? Big nod to our partners, Whiplash, SimCams, ATVO, and CC's Business. We're going to run down your CC's Business starting grid and on pole. We talked a little bit during qualifying about who was fast, who was a little ways behind. Vincent Loria, another pole position start for car 67, while Justin Michael will roll off from the outside of row number 1. Rolling off third and fourth, Nathan Finnegan right back to his speedy ways, and Cody Neal, car number 4 from position number 4, right where you might expect him. Meanwhile, how about Brian Smith, Blake Hoppy? They're going to make your third field, or third row on the field. There we go. 7th spot, Joshua Clemens, Charlie Widener will start from 8th. And to complete your top 10, how about Adam Ball and Jacob Gladulich in car number 14? Some other highlights across the field. Justin Bissonette certainly in car 06, and Kyle Purcell in the 01, starting from 12th position. Michael Melfelt Jr., Daytona winner from back in 13th spot. You see Cody Eldred from the 14th position, trying to stay in the top 10 in points. Brad Delph was a part-timer, now full-time. Sean Purcell trying to get on the positive side of the playoffs. Mike Jennings, Nathan Brzezowski. Jennings trying to get into playoff contention. Cameron Thompson there. You see how Zach Lockett. And outside of the top 20, we'll let the rest of the grid go on by. And remind you of our Whiplash SimCams race details this evening. The big thing is the lap count. 240 laps here at Dover is not a short race by any means. These guys will absolutely feel the effects of that as the day goes on. .240 laps ready to begin from Dover Motor Speedway. No Ryan Patty in the field this evening, but we can't wait to see him back on the track in a week's time or so. I think he's out in Las Vegas enjoying the West Coast. But that means everybody has a chance to get some points on car 30, and we're ready to go racing. Race number 10 for the Icon Cup Series in 2024. Waiting on the green flag. Vincent Loria will get us started. Green flag at Dover Motor Speedway. Lap 1 complete, the whole field getting strung out, but up front, how about the 87 and 67 race leader, race pole sitter, Vincent Loria, of course, the advantage, Justin Michael, second spot, Nathan Finnegan, third, and your first side-by-side will come with Joshua Clemens and Justin Bissonette here on lap 2. Clemens going to fall back to 10th spot. Gladulich up the racetrack, he definitely had to adjust big time. He was on a crash course there for a moment, and oh, here we go. Sean Purcell, Kyle Purcell racing back here for 13th and 14th. Up front, lead change happened real sneakily. Justin Michael to the lead. Lap 3 gets by the 67 car. Vincent Loria falling back a spot. And it's interesting because we've come to expect, I think, a lot of short-run speed out of the 67 tonight. We have short run speed out of that 87 car. He pulls up to position number 1 very, very quickly, and they're already coming around to some lap traffic. That's Luke Rakowski on the front stretch in the 33 car. Looks like he started from the pit lane alongside the 55 of Corey Harville. Neither of those drivers starting with the field. There's Harville, there's Rakowski, and the leaders right behind. And Rakowski will go up the racetrack in car 33. He will make way for Michael, gets in the way a little bit of the 67 there on corner exit, but Loria will find a way by, and Finnegan will follow suit. 4th place. Oh, hello, Cody Neal sideways in the 4. And he's going to go for a spin. That is caution. Oh, and he's been destroyed. More cars involved. That was Thomas Taylor that knocked the socks off the 4 car. Gonna speed around and try to get back. Cody Neal. Wow. Only lap 7 when that accident happened. Cody Neal racing with Blake Hoppy. This was, it looks like, for the 5th position. Hoppy gets into the 4 just a bit. That sends Cody up the racetrack. Thought he had a handle on it. Slides, and here comes the 57. Right there. Oh, my gosh. That was a really, really big hit. This will be the perspective looking back from car number 4 at Hoppy. Just bit of contact, and then here comes the 57 right about here. Oh man, even from the wide shot you can see how big of a hit that was. Thankfully, nobody else included in that crash from the looks of things. And we'll get one more look at it, this time from the perspective of car 57, way behind it. Oh. That's a 2-parter. Well, another look back. Thomas Taylor on board. He's quite a ways back. He stayed in it with the car spinning. Cody had let off the brake a little bit, it looks like, but Thomas Taylor definitely should have been off the gas way, way earlier. Car spinning. That's tough. Cody Neal on the pit lane. Forced destruction to his number 4. 57 joining him. And Brzezowski will work off the pit lane. Looks like he's got some right side damage in that 77. But he'll get back out there. And pit stops definitely were a popular thing. Under caution number 1 of the evening, here is car 67. He took to the pits. Vincent Loria coming in, likely for fuel only, if I had to guess. Jacob Gladjulich also coming in for service. Kyle Corley joining them. And this just might put drivers within range to go to the end, as the Bad Boy Mowers 23 will pull off to the outside lane and let the entire field go by. So caution won an easy one. Unfortunate for sure for Cody Neal, and been talking about the 4-car a lot this season, along with the 67. They're teammates, and they've been oh so good, oh so controversial at times. Cody less so, but he's definitely been aggressive here and there. He's still looking to get that win alongside his teammate. He's been so good. You see him 5th in points ahead of Gladulich, Clemens, Eldred, everybody else. Just chasing that win to get up on the same level as guys like Finnegan, Widener. Well, Widener doesn't have the win, but he certainly would like one, and I feel like he's been the not the underdog, but he's flown under the radar all season long. And sure enough, there he is, 6th spot, ready to go back racing on this next restart. Started 8th, already up a couple of spots. Granted, I think those might have been the 4 and 23. But regardless, Charlie's been really sneakily good this season. And if you're looking for somebody, if you don't know who you want to root for maybe just yet, if you're looking for somebody that you want to pull for in the series, I would very much suggest the 95. He's on the cusp of a win. He's been putting consistent finish after consistent finish together. And it's a matter of time before he joins his teammate Michael Milfelt in the win column. Meanwhile, Geico restart zone coming up for Justin, Michael, and Nathan Finnegan. Green flag again at Dover. Side by side, 2nd spot, Nathan Finnegan outside, Brian Smith inside, they sorted out. Caution. Heath Smith involved. Actually, he goes to the pit lane. Eric Smith, though. He's involved in the 79, and that might be a day ender. Heath Smith may have taken to the pit lane to avoid it. This may have been a single car incident. Oh, it definitely wasn't. So Eric Smith, that bright yellow and white car on the outside. Kyle Corley gets into him and into the wall. For he and Brzezowski in the 77. Again, kind of isolated to just those couple of cars, but Corley, in this case, getting into the left rear of the 79, and we can watch on board from the 88. Eric was a bit off pace, getting up to speed, getting that first lap underway, but then Kyle comes in and just kind of gets into his left rear and sends a 79 for a trip. 77 along with him. On board with Brzezowski, he was just their innocent bystander. All while Heath Smith was trying to clear a penalty by pitting there. The timing certainly did not work out for the... Or maybe it did work out for the 11. He didn't lose a lap. He'll come back in now, and this time take service. So first driver down and away under this caution, Joshua Clemens. He grabs... I'd imagine, yeah, that's just fuel only. Brock Hersey, same thing. So these drivers just topping back off on fuel. Drivers that have pitted but did not pit under this caution going to be Sean Purcell, Kyle Corley, Vincent Loria, Jacob Gladulich, but the Corley machine, I think, will certainly be headed to the rear of the field. And Loria will pit this time, so he'll come in and top off on fuel. Hey, some new colors there for Robert Bluen of the 99. I hadn't noticed that just yet. Talking about new paint schemes earlier. New colors there for the number 99 now Ford Mustang. Ford Mustang Dark Horse, that is. Definitely a nod to Kevin Harvick. It's been kind of a slow start this evening to race number 10 for the series, but that's okay. It's been very, very clean racing lately. It's okay if we stack up a couple of cautions this evening at Dover. In case you missed it yesterday, and I'd imagine most everybody probably did, I'll take a look at upcoming broadcasts, but last night I had the pleasure to go out to Lonesome Pine Motorsports Park in Coburn, Virginia, and if anybody is in the market for maybe grabbing a subscription to pitrow.tv, I have a big selling point as to why you should, because last night we had a limited late model finish that came down to 6/1000ths of a second. We had a big Stars Tour crash. That's Boo Carlisle's series with Super Stocks that races all across the Southeast. They opened the season, I believe, out at Florence. They also race at tracks like Tri-County Motor Speedway. So big crash for the win there. Ended up handing the win over to a driver out of New Hampshire. I know we've got some of you New Englanders in the series, so if you go back and watch this and hear this part, maybe some extra reason to go and grab a subscription there. Really, I mentioned this all because you'll hear my voice commentating it. It's been a lot of fun getting into the real world, and I've been producing broadcasts like that, but now commentating those broadcasts has been a treat for sure. It just kind of, it makes me better here for the Icon Cup Series as well. Especially on an evening where Zach Murtis can't join me. Solo for 240 laps. I'm down for the challenge. Restart zone once again, and Michael off and away. Green flag back in the air. Big start that time for Brian Smith. He'll immediately get by the 6 car of Finnegan, who's got a slot back in line, and hello, Justin Bissonette. Coming to life here. Race number 10, finally back towards the front. Some moving around in the midfield. Urkowski falling back on the outside line, but 1 lap off the restart complete. See a battle just ahead. That's Hersey and Hoppy. Blake Hoppy, of course, sent to the rear after his contribution to the contact with, well, the caution, I should say, with Cody Neal, who is now last place, 10 laps down. Still not back on the racetrack. But Hoppy trying to work back through the field. He's working here on Anthony DeSeo, teammate, oddly enough, for that 4 car. DeSeo now drops him behind. He gets hit by the 51, hangs on to it. That was Nyman that got into him. And Nyman goes up the racetrack and open the door now to DeSeo's teammate Vincent Loria, who goes on through. That's good for 20th. And right behind him, Anthony Campbell back in the field this evening. He's going to work by Brock Hersey. Joshua Clemens going to follow through. Up front, not much changing. Your top 3 all in a line. Oh, and there's Cody Neal. He'll work back onto the racetrack now after falling to 13 laps down. So Neal back on track on lap 24. Kyle Corley, of course, he got sent to the rear after that caution. He's racing with Anthony Campbell. And Heath Smith, by the way, has just had to serve another penalty. He works onto the racetrack now, 4 laps down in 30th spot. Unsure as to what caused the penalty to begin with. But he's been through the pit lane now several times. Battle for position. Charlie Widener, defending over Mike Jennings in the 16 car. As now Finnegan actually going to lose the 3rd spot. Justin Bissonette rolling through. He'll grab the fence at a turn 4. But Finnegan completes the pass nonetheless. Or rather, Bissonette does. Finnegan gets past. This feels like a little early, though, for the 06 to push. We're only 10% of the way through this race when we get back to the stripe. And I think he's being a little aggressive. Finnegan usually pretty solid in that long run. And Bissonette quickly pulls the car down the racetrack that time, looking for something on Smith. Oh, real close to the wall there out of turn 2 for Bissonette. I've dubbed this guy, and not just because of the Trackhouse number font on the side of the car, but I've dubbed this guy the Icon Cup Series Ross Chastain. And it's because he's aggressive. So as these guys have fallen back to a second and a half behind Justin Michael, he's getting real testy on the back end of that 78 car. Two Toyotas out front, he'd like to split that up. And he's going to take a shot here to turn number 1, down to the inside, and Smith will let him have it. I think that's smart racing on Brian's behalf. We'll let that 06 car go by. If you want to fight for it so bad, by all means, burn those tires up. At the same time, if we do get another caution here, this could really pay off for the 06. Getting that spot. Get a caution now, you're likely to see everybody come down the pit lane. But it is within the fuel window. The anticipated fuel window. Meanwhile, hello Kyle Purcell. Nearly to the top 5. He's worked through the field now, working on Adam Ball. This would be for 5th spot. Right behind him, the 7 of Cameron Thompson. A couple of drivers working forward in this race as others fall backwards. There's Purcell, who started 12th. Thompson started 19th, really working through this gap, or this field of drivers this evening. This next-gen car at Dover is a really weird one. It's tough to get a feel on it. This racetrack is definitely one where stock cars really want to be at a bit of yaw. Which is interesting that iRacing sometimes has taken the IndyCar here. Because it's just, again, kind of a weird fit for a racetrack like this. There's so much banking, straightaway and corner. Such high forces, such high speed. A fast car wants to be just a little bit sideways, and that does not work in these next-gen cars. They just don't handle being sideways like that. The independent front and rear suspension, of course, independent front suspension's a thing. Has been, but that independent rear suspension has really changed things up. The contact patch, the symmetrical build of the car. That was almost a really big run for Purcell on the top side. You saw him start to roll that middle lane. And I think if somebody can conquer the middle or top of the racetrack, they might be one of the better cars of the evening, but we've yet to see anybody do that, as Justin Michael, meanwhile, has absolutely taken off. This guy's got 2.3 seconds on the field. And Michael was very adamant after Talladega last week that the Backroad Bandit strategy was the strategy to beat. They would have won the race. Oh, there's a caution right in front of him. Thomas Taylor for a spin. And Taylor will slow to a stop. Thomas, 21 laps down. Had recently come back in for service. That was actually his out lap, it looks like. Or one of the laps following it. We're right on board. Thomas Taylor out of turn 4. Just kept a little wheel in it and got free. He almost kept it off of the wall entirely until right down here. Boom. And he will fall back. It was already 21 laps down. But here we go. Pit stops for everybody. Justin Michael going to lead him down the pit lane. Everybody going to come in for service. I don't expect a single car under this yellow to not pit. Even the lappers. There you see Michael into his box, still awaiting the pole sitter Vincent Loria. There goes Bissonette, there goes Michael, fuel only for the 87. I'm impressed. No tires taken. He's not the only one thinking that way. Vincent Loria, who's only come in for fuel so far this race, has in fact stayed out. I really would have thought these guys would have pitted here in stage 1 to grab some tires, but 5 cars stay out. And most of the field who pitted took fuel only. And all the way down through 17th, nobody took any tires. As Justin Bissonette is dropping to the rear of the field. One would have to think a pit penalty maybe for driver 06. Justin, you weren't the cause of caution. What happened here?
Well, you see, I had it in the wrong gear when I left my pit box, and I had a hell of a lot more speed than I was supposed to.
Ah, so the lights weren't the right colors than we needed to be. Well, it's been cool seeing you back up in the front, until now anyways. The car certainly looks good on that short run. Do you feel like you have that long run speed too?
Yeah, I think so. The tire wear appeared to be minimal from the first half of the stage, so I kept the original 4 on it. Bank is set for the 3rd stage. I think we're a solid top 5 car if we keep it clean.
I was surprised to see so many drivers stay fuel only this deep in the stage, but you're saying tire wear is minimal. What's it like though driving? How much does the handle of the car feel?
Balance is okay, actually. It's kind of interesting. We have a 20-mile-an-hour wind across the track right now, so it's actually it's quite different from 1 and 2 to 3 and 4. But overall, it's manageable. The car's actually not as free as I was thinking it was going to be, so we just gotta click some laps off here and we'll be good.
And already a couple of different drivers having some challenges when the car does snap loose. How difficult is it to hang on?
It depends where you're running. If you're up high and you got that little extra speed, I think you actually bottom out because of the front right spring rate. But realistically, if you keep it on the bottom, it seems to be half decent.
Well, Justin, good to talk to you. Glad we had you back in the front for a little while anyways. Best of luck.
Absolutely. Hopefully we talk to you again here later.
That's the hope. Car 06 fast this evening just needs to overcome that pit penalty and move back forward. A couple of drivers pitting late. Jacob Gladulich could be one of them. He'll come in for a little extra service. But Vincent Loria staying on the racetrack here under this yellow. And car 67 will lead us to the green this time by. Now, only your top 2 drivers stayed out for the entirety of this caution. Loria staying out. He's been on the racetrack now for 23 laps. Clemens for 24, so they're on the same strategy. Teammates as well now, as Clemens has gone over and joined KU Motorsports to join the 67, the 4, the 15. So a big restart on the way. Loria are going to lead us to the green as we're just past halfway in stage 1. Clemens inside, then Michael, Finnegan, and Smith, your top 5. Geico restart zone. The race is back underway at Dover. Clemens being swallowed up quickly, and here we go for the race lead. Nathan Finnegan to the inside. Clemens falls back to 5th, but Loria going to take the race lead back away through turns 3 and 4. These guys are all still on the same tires they started the race with. Love the static cameras around the racetrack. Blake Hoppy, it looks like, is in a nice little fight right ahead of Corey Harville. Maybe not. It was somebody else I saw side by side, I guess. But here we go. Kyle Purcell holding his own in the top 10. There's some fighting in the back. Saw the 93 to the outside. We see the 16 to the inside. A couple of separate fights, but Mike Jennings will get clear of Cody Eldred. Then you see Brad Delph and Sean Purcell. And man, these cars rip around here. They're actually running very comparable lap times, if not a little bit off pace from what the NASCAR Cup cars used to run here at Dover. But for some reason, This car in particular just looks like it's going so fast at this place. Eldred now falling back. Sean Purcell grabs the apron. Gonna get loose on the front stretch, but hangs on to it. Fantastic job. Fantastic catch by driver 04 as Rakowski falls back. Campbell moving up. And Zach Lockett breaking back into the top 20. Here the downshift into turn 3. Nyman goes up the racetrack. Lockett taking it very easy, it sounds like. Campbell to his outside, gonna go by car 93. Michael Melfeld Jr. getting passed up, and look at this pack. Beginning with Adam Ball in 6th, then Kyle Purcell in 7th. Now Corey Harville, who's in the top 10. He's going to turn down and turn himself across Cameron Thompson. Big crash going to involve the 95, the 32 of Eldred. And that might be all. Oh, and Smith tags him. Way, way after the caution's been out. Thompson, though, playoff implications for him. But a fantastic job to this point of staying out of trouble, netting a bunch of great finishes. And here on lap 46, the 7 car is absolute junk. We'll watch the 7 down into turn 1. Harville just kind of turns down across his nose, and oh man, Widener gets a piece. Here comes Eldred. I think Rakowski got a bit. And Eric Smith comes in late and just tags the right side of Harville's machine. A little further back here, you see just everything forming out of turn 4. This is where we joined these guys, and I guess we're lucky enough, if you want to call it that, to catch it live. And you know, from the onboard with the 7, it definitely changes how it looks. As oh man, that was a big hit for the 32. That's really tough. We'll watch it from Thompson's onboard. I might have to come back off of saying the 55 turned himself. This is a really, really tough spot. There's no overlap when the 55 turns in. I know how I would have treated that situation if I were Corey Harville, but I don't think that he would have had to leave room for Thompson. I would argue for self-preservation, you see a guy in the mirror go low like that, probably best to let him have the lane this early at a place like Dover. But that is really, really tricky. We'll see it here from the side. I mean, that is a really, really tough spot to be in for both of those drivers. This a little more of the context leading up to it. We can go on board with car 95, who was right behind them. That is a really tricky situation. And Charlie just had nowhere to go. Ends up slamming into the outside wall. His bumper is sheared off of his car, and I think the right front knocked off of it too. Yeah, knocked out for sure, the toe. The YouTube chat definitely talking about that one. That is a really, really tough situation for each of those drivers. I don't know if Cameron should have lifted or, well, I think retrospectively, definitely Cameron should have lifted and Corey should have given room to the inside. But as far as who should have done what by racing etiquette, I don't know. There's no overlap. If this was road racing, definitely you would say that's on the 7, but this is oval racing. And if I saw the 7 in my mirror do that, I would give him the lane out of self-preservation on lap 46 or whatever it was. But that's just me, and I don't think Corey would have had to do that. So that's a tough one for sure, but another caution down. Anthony Teseo led the charge off the pit lane after taking the service. He went down for 4 in fuel. Hanover Fist joined him. Charlie Widener, of course, came in for service, but that 55 is still a rolling piece of junk. I'm surprised he didn't lose a lap. I'm actually really surprised he didn't give a lap up to try and get that car fixed. Eldred also pitted. Here's a look at the 32 car. He's got plenty of damage. Really the whole nose of that machine. And Corey Harville. Currently off the racetrack in the pit lane waiting on repairs. We'll give it a shot one more time. A little over 30 laps to go left in stage number 1. We'll restart on lap 50. I'm sorry, a little over 20 to go. 23 laps to go, I believe, in stage 1. Green flag back in the air. A slow start for the 6 of Finnegan. A slow start for the 6, but side by side is the 87 with that number 6 Chevrolet. Justin Michael will give him the lane into turn number 3. But from the get-go, they got to racing. Now 22 laps to go in stage number 1. Vincent Loria leads, then Finnegan, then Michael. Meanwhile, some side-by-side racing back here. Brad Delf takes the 9th spot. And caution. Robert Bluen. Thomas Taylor in another one. And Bluen will tow to the pits. So just as we were about to take 20 to go, we'll halt things. Bluen comes up and gets sent down the racetrack a bit. I think he was coming up on a slow Cody Eldred. Well, no, Eldred goes by the 69 of Fist. So I guess maybe he was coming up on the slow 69, maybe? They were checking up for Charlie Widener. Hanover Fist gets on the wall. That sends the 99 down the racetrack, and Thomas Taylor was there. That's just another really bad situation. Well, pit road opens up for these drivers, and a handful will come down. The strategy is pretty well sorted for these guys at this point. This is all damage control. Cody Eldred comes in. Charlie Widener going to come down and get into his box. We can dial up driver 95. I doubt he's going to be all that thrilled that he's talking to us for this reason, but Charlie, a fast car this evening, unfortunately mangled up here with, well, it was just shy of 50 laps complete. How bad is the car?
Oh, I'm turning right, going down the straightaways here. It's real loose going in the corner. Got some caution flags coming up with the stages. I'll get as much fixed as I can, but we'll get back out there and do what we can.
Been a lot of fun noting you throughout the season so far, considering you don't have any wins yet, but you're second in points. Are you trying? Well, obviously you're trying to get that first one. Is there a track maybe that you have outlined on the schedule where you feel like you can get it done?
Yeah, any of the super speedways. I like any kind of big 2-miler or mile, like a nice big 1.5 mile, like a
Kansas next week,
something like that. But yeah, Kansas. I like Kansas, so we'll keep fighting. We'll see what we can get. I'm trying to stay consistent, get as many points as I can, stay up there in points. So
we've talked to your teammates a handful of times. I think Justin Michael most recently. Haven't talked to you much. What should we know about Car 95? I mean, you've been fast all season long, consistent finishes aside from maybe today, but clearly you've got something going right for you.
Yeah, I just try to stay out of trouble, and I'm like not top tier here yet. I don't feel like, but I'm definitely lurking in the second tier, trying to get my first win, and I just try to stay up front and race people clean. So, yeah, just have fun is the main thing.
Well, you were towards the front when that crash happened. Best of luck to you. It's been a lot of fun watching Car 95. Maybe a detour from the consistent finishes this evening, but best of luck next week at Kansas.
Thank you.
Charlie Widener from Backroad Bandits. And he will line up, it looks like, 25th spot. He still has not lost a lap. You see Cody Neal there in the 4 car. He is 13 laps down, now in 31st position. Next car he'll pass will be Cameron Thompson in 4 laps. But the Widener story really struck me as interesting when I put together the points graphic, because looking through here, it's just so crazy to me that he's got all of these points. He's up there ahead of Brian Smith in the standings, just behind Nathan Finnegan now, ahead of Loria, Neal, Gladys, all of these guys, and we don't hear much from the 95 car. Now, again, this evening, a bit of a detour from that kind of season he's been putting together, but really solid effort so far this year by that 95 camp. We'll give it another go here in stage number 1, now inside of 20 to go. And this time I'm pretty sure of my math. Vincent Loria outside, Nathan Finnegan inside. Then it's Michael on the inside, Smith outside. That's your top 4. Green flag, back out again at Dover Motor Speedway. Justin Michael shoving Nathan Finnegan into the first corner off the green flag. Brian Smith on the outside, fresh off of a win at Talladega, powers around the outside. He'll take second. Lap complete from the restart. Michael and Finnegan side by side. They fight for third. Finnegan bottom side will take that spot away. Adam Ball, 5th spot. Mike Jennings in the 6th position. He'll look to the inside now for 5th. From behind him, you see Clemens and Purcell side by side. Purcell going to win out for now. Clemens top side, though, not giving up. And Milfelt Jr. has got the sight to see. He's got a front row ticket to that fight. Now gets in on it himself. Powers up to the inside of car 44, trying to go by. And Blake Hoppy's got a great view, too. He's moved back into the top 10 in that 23. Part-timer here that's always been good when we see him on the racetrack. Blake has been a lot of fun to watch when he's able to show up. Anthony Campbell, also a lot of fun to watch alongside Evan Patinko, who's down low. Fitting his name. Oh, and Campbell. A big bobble there off the back end of Delph. Campbell actually grabbed the fence that time at a turn 4. That knocks Purcell back to fight with Patinko. Maybe a quick checkup out of it as the 155 and 44 stays side by side yet again. It'll be 12 laps to go, this time by the flag stand. And these two stay in lockstep formation. Clemens outside. Milfelt now gets cleared, but he gets passed back by the Clemens machine. If you want to talk about stage points, it's going to come down to Justin Michael in that final stage point position. He's in 5th. Adam Ball is 6th. Mike Jennings is working through here. He could be one to watch for this stage win. He's got relatively brand new tires. He's got tires, anyway, that are better than the race leaders. Meanwhile, for the stage win, Vincent Loria, Brian Smith. It'll be 10 laps to go this time by, and the 78 is there. As we've seen so many times already this season, these two are going to do battle, fight it out, and we might get an idea of who has got the better car maybe if we get to doing this later in the race as well. Jennings, though, going to work here on Nathan Finnegan in the 6 car. We've been able to speak to driver 16 a couple of times, just wanting to get points, just wanting to finish races, get away from the bad luck that he's had so often this season. Well, this is a good way to get off sequence to try and earn some points. There's plenty of tires to go around. Of course, if we get some cautions late in the race, we'll want those extra tires, but Jennings will just clear the 6th that lap for 3rd spot, so he's moving forward. Another stage point or 2 for the 16. A little deeper in the field, Hoppy and Clemens run side by side. The 44 continuing to drop. And just behind him, you got Patinko, then Lockett, then Bissonette in a row. Brad Delph, Kyle Purcell, they'll fight. And Purcell is headed the wrong direction. Some of these guys have got tires. Sean Purcell's got tires in 8th. Brad Delph, Anthony Campbell. They've all pitted for tires already in this event. Blake Hoppy is not. Oh, Adam Ball. Falling back. He might have tagged the fence that time. Sean Purcell at 04. He's got new tires. He might. This is a big might, but he might be able to pull up to Justin Michael here in a couple of laps. It's been a while since he got those tires, 31 laps, but he's actually probably too far back now, but I think he can at least bring the fight here to Millfeld. Gonna dive low now. Sean Purcell looking for 6th. Not for any stage points, but there he goes, going by your Daytona race winner. And then up front, Mike Jennings, no concern to these two. Brian Smith has got 4 laps. Try and square up the 67. There's a lapped car up ahead. That's going to be Charlie Widener. Which, oddly enough, is a teammate to Justin Michael in the top 5. Vincent Loria, though, now with 3 laps to go, 2.5, we'll say, in stage 1, pulling away to a healthy race lead, about a half second. Two laps to go in stage 1. So he blew into the pit lane side by side, Finnegan and Jennings. Jennings falling back. Sure, he's got tires, but it looks like he's used them up. But you know what? At the very least, he drove himself into stage points, and he'll likely be able to hang on to 4th here. Never say never, I guess. Justin Michael can absolutely pass him here, but... Oh, and Jennings got the fence. Yeah, Michael will pass him. And through 1 and 2, Brian Smith has just fallen off the back end of the 67. These guys are all running very, very slow. At least compared to how they looked earlier in the run. Out of turn 4, stage 1 goes to driver 67, Vincent Loria with the stage win. Brian Smith, Nathan Finnegan, Justin Michael, your top 5. They will all earn points. And the field goes by. Look at that pace truck digging off the apron to catch up to the 67. So we'll talk to Vincent Loria under this yellow. And I think these drivers, yeah, will be able to pit this time. Four tires and fuel, I think, could be the call across the board. We might see one of those drivers that took 4 earlier on in the run maybe go for 2, maybe fuel only, and take tires later on in stage 2. You're guaranteed to have to pit between this point and the end of the stage. So you could theoretically do just that. Take no tires here if you've already taken tires and try and stretch those out. Try and save a set. Loria up on the jacks. It'll be 4 tires for everybody in the front. And I think that'll stay consistent through the field. Here comes Sean Purcell up, and wow, down and away quickly. Brian Smith nearly beat out Vincent Loria, but I think the 67 will have, yeah, he'll keep the race lead. No change in order there, although Mike Jennings will fall back a little bit. Longer stop for the 16. He'll fall to 8th, 7th, as Widener was coming by to take his lucky dog. Dial up our stage winner. Vincent Loria, fast all season, a couple of different stage wins across a couple of different racetracks. Gets another one here this evening. Vincent, clearly a fast 67, but you haven't been out front all night long. As low as 31st at one point. What's going on for you?
Yeah, there I was just topping off the fuel at the start. I figured if it did go green, I would have been able to make it. On that first caution, I don't think so, but when I topped off on the second one, I had about 4 laps extra to the end, so I thought I could win it on the fuel strategy. And then when the caution came out, everybody pit, and I still had enough fuel, so I just cycled to the front.
I have to think it's pretty well cut and dry straight up. You have to pit one time in each stage, but how much can you guys do with the tires, try and gain track position, and maybe give some up here, get some there? What options do you guys have?
Yeah, I think, I mean, I was running just as fast as I was at the end there as I was at the start. I don't think there's, obviously if you're cooking your stuff, you're going to be screwed either way, but if you're taking care of it, I think the tires aren't horrible. So, I'll probably keep it to splashing goes if we have green flags and then take tires at the stage. But yeah, no, I think definitely adds a level of, kind of creativity or variety to the race, so it should be interesting near the end.
42 laps led, that's the most of anybody so far, and you're finally up there with the big boys now in the standings after shaking off the issues earlier in the season. Getting into that mid-season stride, how do you keep this moving forward? Clearly you've got momentum going. How do you keep it going week after week?
Yeah, I think it's mostly about just staying alive, to be completely honest. I think that, getting involved in wrecks was kind of the monkey on my back there for pretty much all of last season and the start of this season, but I've kind of shaken it, knock on wood with that one. But, just keeping a clean race car, you don't have to be the fastest the entire race, you just got to be the fastest at the end. So as long as you're there with a fast race car, typically you get good finishes. I'm just going to try to keep doing that. I mean, I've already banked a couple wins and have some playoff eligibility, so as long as I just keep racking up playoff points with stage wins and stuff like that, I think I should be good.
Well, speaking of the end, hopefully we're talking to you then. Best of luck.
All right, thank you.
Driver 67, a stage win this evening. 43 laps led already. That'll be 44 when we come around and take the green flag in just a moment. It'll be Smith to his inside, then Finnegan, Michael, and Purcell. Going to round out your top 5. Anthony Campbell 6th, Michael Milfelt Jr. 7th, Brad Delph 8th, then Hoppy and Ball round out your top 10. We'll begin stage number 2 now. Green flag back in the air at Dover. A big restart for the 67. That leaves the 78 and 87 squabbling. Smith falls back. Finnegan grabs a piece of the fence. And Nathan Finnegan off the top side looses the 87. And there goes Justin Michael for a slide. He'll just hang on to the race car. No caution. No full spin. Now there's a yellow, and it's for down low Patinko. Down low on the apron. Oh, boy. Evan Patinko further back behind all of that with Justin Michael. There was an adjustment big time from one car to his outside. He tried adjusting for it, got free, and goes for his own spin. There's a lot happening there. Let's back it up a little more. Let's first catch Justin Michael. This will be a lot of fun to watch. Not for him, but for us. A turn 4, trying to hang on to second. Just going to get free, and What a save. And then behind him, Evan Patinko racing to the inside of... Who was that around him? Was it Tiseo, maybe? I think so. So Evan comes up on all of this. He tries to go to the inside. Tiseo knocks the fence down, and that is kind of what scares the 96 of Patinko. He slides, gets into the inside wall, and bends up the right side of that machine. That was a really big lick for the 15 car. Anthony, a teammate to race leader Vincent Loria. Cody Neal as well. Oh, that was a big hit. Kyle Corley, fantastic job of missing that. Could have gone really poorly. And all of this really saves the 87 of Michael. He'll be able to keep fighting now. And, man, watch this miss of the 96. That got real close. There's a lot happening around the 88 car. But this just about saves Justin Michael in that 87 car. Would have fallen a lot further back if not for that caution, and this bunches the field back up to where he will be able to do a little bit of battle. Everybody stays out. They all just pitted. Although Gladulich comes in for a little bit of service, as well as Hanover Fist, Charlie Widener, and Evan Patinko. Corey Harville and Cody Neal also in the pits. Neal now 12 laps down. Talk to somebody who's already been through an incident earlier this evening. It's driver 32. We don't talk to him all that often. But Cody Eldred has been a lot of fun to watch this season. And Cody, I know you've already been through an incident and definitely seen your share of hard times this evening, but the car looks clean at this point. That front bumper been mended for sure. How's the car feel?
Just working out how this track is acting. We got 19-mile-an-hour winds going against us in the backstretch, so it's throwing us off in turn 3 and then the opposite direction in turn 1. So still trying to adjust for it. I'm glad you gave me the notice that my bumper's back together, though.
Yeah, you know, it looked a little worse for wear after the incident you were involved in earlier, but it looks just about brand new, if not brand new now. Has the handle been knocked out at all? Did you knock the suspension up?
Not that I know of. I'm keeping it consistent up here, so I'm pretty happy with the car right now. You just got to manage your tires, and if you don't, it gets real tight, and that's what happened to me last run.
We've seen you have some really strong runs this season, some where maybe you were just a tick off. How do you catch up to these guys that just are, they look like aliens?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just luck half the time. I got to run practice laps to get up to where these guys are, but attrition is mostly my luck this year.
Hey, a bunch of consistent finishes for sure, making sure you're there at the end. Best of luck here. I think we'll see another one of those this evening, but I will knock on wood for you just to be safe. Hopefully we'll talk to you later on.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
And Cody Eldred will come back to the green flag in position 13. Old School's coins on the hood of that machine. He's got a sponsor on the side of the car as well. I'll see if I can make that out. I actually don't recall. Find a Way Outdoors, I believe. So Old School coins on the hood. Old School's coins, and Find a Way Outdoors in that Chevrolet Camaro. Into stage 2 now, but not by much. In fact, by 10 laps here. Green flag back in the air for Vincent Loria. We're back at it at Dover. Out of turn 4, 1 lap complete. Finnegan looking a little free that time off the corner. Hangs on to it, though. Don't know how free it actually got, as here comes Bissonette in the 06. He was sent backwards after a caused caution earlier, and he is working now on Brad Delph for what would be the 8th position if he can get it. made a big move there on the front stretch to try and look to the inside of that 72 car. Now falls back a little bit. Justin Michael right behind him. And of course, we know how fast that 87 is. He'll look for ninth now on the inside of Bissonette, and will have it. As one car goes up the racetrack, that's Campbell. Maybe Michael doesn't have it just yet. Side by side, they'll go down the back. There we go. Michael gets clear. Anthony Campbell getting a handle back on that machine. Couple of wall contacts there, I think, though, for the 155 and 73. Anthony has been a lot of fun to watch. Teammate to Timothy Harper, who's not here this evening in the 12 car. Anthony has had good run here, bad run there, good run here, bad run there. It's been very hit or miss. Was not eligible to qualify this evening, so he started from 30th spot, back of the field. And has worked his way into the top 5 a time or two, now runs 6th. And is putting pressure back on the 155 of Milfelt Jr. Bissonette moving around again. He'll get by Brad Delph down there in turns 3 and 4. The 72 now falling back to 10th. Joshua Clemens just behind. And Daniel Nyman having one of the better runs we've seen from him this season as Kyle Purcell goes to the inside of Eldred. Daniel Nyman started 31st this evening. He also did not turn a qualifying lap. He also has seen a couple of big incidents this season, a couple of bad races. He's been on the penalty report, I think, a time or two, but very much cleaning things up. A really good run going. Oh, hang on to it, Daniel. Ooh. Almost made a liar out of me. Now, Evan Patinko and Mike Jennings. Jennings, I think, fell back after that stage. Oh, he's got a bunch of right side damage. And I do mean a bunch. We'll see when he comes around this lap. If we can get a good view to that right side. You can kind of see it there. But the right side of this 16 is beat up. Yeah, there we go. Definitely seen better days. As here we go for 4th spot. Milfelt, a bobble there. He'll fall back and slide. That might give up position 5 to Campbell. Hoppy is here. Hello. And these guys are all on the same tire strategy, so it's really interesting to see some guys going faster now and slower later. Or slower now and faster later. Mike Jennings off pace, spinning. Caution again. And for those of you counting, we are now racing to the completion of lap 150. So rather than keeping in mind that it's a 78 lap stage, stage 2 will be complete at the completion of lap 150. And Mike was just trying to get there, gets hooked around by the 95 of Widener, who we spoke to earlier. Patinko goes by as well. And 16 has definitely seen better days. It's unfortunate. He just got stage points. He was just up front. And then this happens to him, racing with Corey Harville, new driver to the season. Racing with Widener there as well, and then out of turn 2, just a disagreement over who was supposed to go where. And a slide for the 16 car. Now, pit stops very much underway for our leaders. Anthony Campbell will stay out along with Daniel Nyman, Luke Rakowski, and Anthony Teseo. However, everybody else comes in. There's Loria. I think he got beat by the 6. Yes, Nathan Finnegan going to win the race off of pit lane. Finnegan will pull around and will take over 5th spot. Everybody else left scrambling for positions. Justin Michael is back here unofficially for now in 15th with 4 cars that stayed out, so 11th off the pit lane, if you will. Let's talk to a driver we haven't heard from yet this season, if he's in Discord. I think he is. Oh, maybe not. Well, thought it might be a good time to talk to driver number 33, but Luke Rakowski not in the Discord channel. It's okay, though. We can talk to driver 15, who also stays out under this yellow, and will take a little bit of track position. A driver that's been making a lot of paint schemes this season. Anthony, not the best run for you, but the car looks great. How's it going for you?
I'm doing pretty good. My run's not doing great. I'm not great at these short tracks. Or not short, I should say. Shorter than Michigan or something like that. But I'm doing better than I thought. I'm just trying to keep it clean and not hurt anyone. Just try to run a clean race, and that's about it.
And really the only detour from a good run that I would say so far was that big wall contact a handful of laps ago out of turn 4. Was it just kind of an anomaly? What happened there?
Yeah, I keep getting loose on corners and exit mostly, and it's happened a few times in practice this week. I'm getting better control of it the more we run, but yeah, it just kind of happened.
Well, hey, we haven't got to talk to you a lot this season, but we keep seeing all these brand new paint schemes, and it's been a lot of fun to kind of document what you're going to run this week, then next week. Do you have any more in store for us?
I don't know right now. My main paint schemes right now are my van used car paint scheme. It's a local paint used car shop around me that my buddy's grandpa owned. Then I made this one because I thought it'd be cool to run something different. But I just like doing it. I'm learning how to use Photoshop and all that, so it's fun.
Well, it's good to talk to you. We see you in the YouTube chat a lot, Anthony. Best of luck. Hopefully that 15 car moves forward and or stays where you are now.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Anthony staying out under this yellow. He will restart 4th position as he gets in line. Distracting him a little bit, but he gets up there. And I think it's fair to say staying out, he's likely to get passed up by a lot of these guys, but he can absolutely... Oh, hello. Daniel Nyman. I think caught off guard by the lane choice by Anthony Campbell. How about Anthony Campbell going to lead us to the green here? Trying to save a set of tires, stay out, set himself up for later. Well, Campbell will bring us back to the green. There we go. It's Campbell out front, then Nyman, Rakowski, and Tiseo, your top 4. Restart zone, green flag, back in the air at Dover. Everybody caught sleeping on that restart. Campbell gets down and away quickly, and they're racing for everything behind. A lot of old tires holding up a lot of new tires. Down to the bottom goes the 78 of Brian Smith, 3 wide. Finnegan in the middle, Loria caught up top. Smith gets loose on the bottom, just hangs onto the car. He gets moved around a little bit now to Seo high, Rakowski high. Finnegan gets bottled up again. Finnegan trying to find a way by the 33. Rakowski drives down the racetrack a bit, but will now relent and give up that position. Loria follows on through, and whoa, Brian Smith. Oh, to Seo wall. What a restart. Wow. Wow. There's Bissonette now working on the 15 car. Sale will fall back another spot. Rakowski following as well. I mean, that's... Oh, spinner! That's Finnegan into the wall hard. No caution. Gladjulich also checked up that lap. Nathan Finnegan, a lot of right side damage after that one. What in the world just happened? No caution. Let's see if we can get a quick replay. Racing with Daniel Nyman. Loria just tried to cross up and go to the bottom, and that was just aggression. Campbell and Nyman still out front, but Loria now going to change that. Goes by the 51 car finally. And there is a big center punch in the nose of that 67 car that's going to tell a story. No caution, but if Finnegan already wasn't a fan at Martinsville, definitely not a fan now, but hello, 73 car. This is a really solid start to this little mid-stage run. And I do have to look back and mention the fact that not every car took tires on that caution. So of those that pitted, it looks like Justin Michael took tires, Michael Milfeld took tires. Luker no. Adam Ball, Joshua Clemens would have taken tires. But it was definitely not the whole field. So Loria's still on older rubber, as is Smith. But Justin Michael going to start to fly through this field and get back to where he maybe should have been. Remember, he had that big moment out of turn 4 to begin the stage. Fell back to about 14th. On board with car 87. I'm going to work on Nyman now. And Daniel Nyman's a really interesting one to me. If you look at his oval license, it's a rookie class. Rookie class 2.57, I rating in the 1200s because he's still a rookie. A very interesting situation. We don't see many rookies in these iRacing leagues. Sometimes if it's a different discipline, you might. Like if you have an oval league, go to road courses, you might see rookie licenses because it's pulling their road license as opposed to the oval license. But Nyman, in an oval series, has an oval rookie class license, which is rare. But holding his own on this restart, doing a fantastic job of safely facilitating these passes from his position, and he does grab the fence there, but that's okay. It's Dover. Dover turns 2 and 4. That's to be expected almost. Loria now on board, pulling up on Anthony Campbell, Brian Smith not far back. Well, this is your lead fight. .44 to go in stage 2. And Loria now squarely to the inside of car 73. He will have position and will dispatch of Campbell very, very quickly. Brian Smith now going to move through to second spot. And don't look now, but Justin Michael is in the conversation. He is within 1 second of the race lead. He worked out to a big lead in stage 1 once Loria pitted. I think even or before Loria pitted. Well, he's going to drive back forward, I think. He'll get by Campbell here. And now just has to look up to the 78 and 67 and just take his time. Meanwhile, fight for 5th. Milfeld holding that position. Bissonette would like it. Blake Hoppy there as well. He's had to come from the back end of the field after having an incident earlier this race with Cody Neal. And so he was sent down to 28th position. On board car 06, a decent look at how you try to find a different line. Now, down in 1 and 2, Bissonette and Milfeld, they took the exact same line. I think Justin maybe was trying to find a different line. Milfeld was trying to take some air away, but stay on the outside, and they ended up mirroring each other. This lap, you see a different line. Justin drops down low. Milfeld's a little higher. He'll have the run off of turn 2 and be able to pull back away a bit. That little bit of variation in the grooves makes this car so fun to watch. As here we go for second spot. Brian Smith, Justin Michael. Michael makes it no real fight. And Smith even, I think, let up and decided to just let him have that spot. Let the Wookiee win. Michael now a bit free that time at a 4, but looking up at driver 67, trying to take this spot away. This would be for the race lead once again. He's been there before. They've each led a whole bunch of laps. In fact, they have the lion's share of laps led this evening. Michael just can't find a way by yet. That's okay. Got to take your time on these leaders especially. And now the superior Goodyear rubber will take over for Justin Michael. He'll take the race lead. Lap 114. Will get it away from Vincent Loria, who falls back in line in second. Now Nathan Finnegan right up the road. Remember, that's the car that Loria made contact with. I'd imagine I don't expect Finnegan to do anything dirty here, but I would imagine that he might take some clean air away. Might make it difficult for Loria. And he'll do exactly that. Powers down right in front of the 67 car. Chops the nose there. Drives down again. Yeah, this is frustration. A little bit of contact. They're still going at it. Finnegan's still trying to block the 67. Down into turn one. Loria really lunged that time. Got some mid-stage drama. And poor Brian Smith wants no part of this. The 6 car is still making life difficult here for Vincent Loria. We're working up to 30 to go in stage 2. In fact, that's 33 there. Loria still not able to get by this 6 car. Meanwhile, Blake Hoppy, Justin Bissonette, Anthony Campbell, they fight back here out of turn 2. Campbell, of course, he stayed out to get the race lead. He's trying to hang on to those stage points. 33 laps left for him to hang on. That's a little ways. We saw Bissonette there getting by Hoppy, but we can't leave this alone. Nathan Finnegan making life as difficult as possible for Vincent Loria, who made contact with him earlier, forcing a 3-wide situation to get by Daniel Nyman. Loria saw a gap, saw an opportunity to pass, took it. Finnegan wasn't expecting it. They made contact. Finnegan went up the racetrack into the outside wall pretty hard, pretty much out of control. From our position in the booth, it's kind of a racing incident, but I think the frustration is warranted if you're Finnegan. The opportunity was there for Loria. In my opinion, having seen some frustrations at Lonesome Pine last night, in my opinion, that is what makes racing good. A difference in what drivers are doing led to an I won't say an altercation, but a moment on the racetrack that now gives us drama through the rest of stage 2, if not the rest of this race. And Finnegan is now a lap down. And he's just, you know, he can say he's just trying to hang on to the lucky dog spot, but he is absolutely impeding the 67, making his life much more difficult, which is in turn allowing Justin Michael to get a larger and larger race lead as this stage goes on. One car slow, the 77 of Brzezowski. He will lose some spots as Heath Smith goes by, Jacob Gladjulich. And I really wonder what Brian Smith is thinking at this point. He's not involved in this. Deeper in the top 10, we've got a line stacking up. So Hoppy has taken the final position for stage points so far. Bissonette is 6th. Sean Purcell is now 7th. Anthony Campbell 8th as he starts to finally drop back. I mean, he really did a fantastic job of hanging on to that race car as long as he could up there, trying to hang on to stage points, but he is starting to fall back now. He'll lose a spot here to Kyle Purcell and drop to 9th. Then Joshua Clemens is in the top 10. He wants to move forward. There's Adam Ball trying to get into the top 10. We have cars absolutely stacked up. Eldred is right there, right behind these guys. Brad Delph not far back. Just a line of fighting around here at Dover. This is really good stuff. Campbell up, oh, nearly to the 19. Just hangs on to the race car. Opposite side of the racetrack. Brian Smith still right behind Vincent Loria. And they have now fallen well back of the 6 car of Finnegan. even further back of the 87 who leads this race. That's Justin Michael. He got new tires under the last yellow where these other leaders took only fuel. Hanover Fist going to get passed up by the 6 car. That will keep Nathan Finnegan in Lucky Dog contention should we get a caution. But Michael Milfelt Jr. has driven up to the 67 and 80, or 78 rather. Milfelt, a teammate to Justin Michael, who's leading this race, and also took tires under that most recent yellow, whereas these guys did not. Fist on the outside of Loria, that checks up the 67, who's going to block down low. Milfelt tried to go there. He will go there on Smith. He's looking for second, though, as they work 3 wide at a turn 2. Space nearly ran out. That was heads up. Very nice heads up play from the 78 of Brian Smith. So Milfelt now setting his sights on car 67, about 2/10 that time through turns 1 and 2, closing in. That dirty air is a pain here at Dover. It really, really is. Also, this time around, 20 laps to go in stage 2. Milfelt has got the spot down low. Loria will pedal back and slide into third. Blake Hoppy has the final points position here in stage 2. That is Sean Purcell, Kyle Purcell in 6th and 7th. Joshua Clemens now to the inside of that 01 car. And moving forward. Big battle further back. Bissonette sliding back. He is really dropping all of a sudden. He is on older tires, which might explain it. He is really dropping like a rock. Pete Smith goes by. He's fallen back now to the lap 55 and 4 of Harville and Neal. Up ahead, Jacob Gladulich side by side of Evan Patinko. He'll back out, and Patinko will get back clear for 12th. Nice little result in the making here for Patinko. Well, he was just in a crash in the front stretch, and he's running for 12th by merit. I mean, this is a pretty solid little run. Still side by side. Gladulich, a big adjustment there on the front stretch all the way down. Heath Smith gonna try and get that spot away. Runs all the way up to the outside wall. That actually allows the 4 car of Neal to go by. And Cody Neal, I believe he was one of our first cautions, if not our first. Got tipped around by Blake Hoppy, and caution is out. Mike Jennings, slow on the front stretch. And heel toe. Jennings here checking up. Teseo got into him. Checked up a little more to let the leaders go by. Try to pop back up and re-merge. Oh! That was Hanover Fist. Day done for the 69 car. Maybe not completely done, but definitely day injured. Here's Jennings to Deseo. Jennings slow on the bottom. I think he might have been trying to pit. Missed pit lane. I don't think there was even any contact between those two. And when Jennings tried to re-merge, got loose, and there goes the 69, who ends up hitting the inside wall rather aggressively. And that is his day, at the very least, heavily altered. But pit stops up front. 4 cars will stay out. That is 5 now. Led by Justin Michael. But the rest of the leaders all come in for service. Actually, a lot of cars staying out. Michael stays out. Milfelt stays out. Purcell, Clemens, Ball, Delph, Patinko, Gladulich, Smith all stay out under this yellow. Bissonette stays out. Lockett stays out. Brzezowski stays out. It's actually a minority that comes in pits here. Loria is one of them. Smith as well. Hoppy comes in for service. Eldred in for service. And Loria will quickly work down and away. Now, there you see our lucky dog car. That's the number 6 of Finnegan. He'll have to let those guys go by, but Finnegan will work back onto the lead lap. So Justin Michael will take over the reins. Adam Ball will have an opportunity here to restart 5th and go for some stage points. Let's pile up driver 19. Adam, you're staying out under this yellow. That's the obvious part. The not so obvious part is as to why. I mean, stage points, I guess that has to be the incentive, right? Adam,
I just said all that over the wrong channel.
That's okay.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to save tires is all. Just want to get as many tires I have for the third stage.
That's pretty fair. We could get a slew of cautions, and you'll need those tires. How big is the difference between new tires and old tires, even if, say, the split is like 20 laps?
It really depends on how much you're burning off your right front. If you're over driving it, your tires are really good. If you're pretty good at saving your tires, you don't lose too much.
We've seen recently, I think, a pretty decent string of runs for you. You're into 11th now in the standings. Pretty, I wouldn't say safe just yet, but comfortable in the playoffs right now. Plenty of space back to 17th. Is there a track, though, where you feel like you can grab a win and make sure you're in that 16 for the playoffs?
No, most of my way to get in is just point my way in. I'm a good 5th to 10th place driver, and that's where I tend to go. Just run that every week, and I'll be good.
Well, do you feel like maybe you can do better than that 5th to 10th today? I mean, restarting 5th here. Yeah, Michael's the leader, so you'll restart 5th. It seemed like you've been around this spot. Can you work up forward by the end of the race?
We're certainly going to try. We'll see what happens.
Well, best of luck, Adam. Good to talk to you.
Thanks.
Adam Ball with maybe kind of a glass half empty look right now, but I've liked what I've seen out of Adam Ball in recent weeks. The 19 has definitely looked good, and he's able to keep that momentum moving forward. Might have a decent run here at the end of stage 2, if not the rest of the race. Now, we've got a very unique order of the field coming to this green flag. Justin Michael is your race leader alongside teammate Michael Milfelt Jr. They pull the same strategy move here. Then it's Sean Purcell and Joshua Clemens, Adam Ball, who we just spoke with, and then Evan Patinko, Justin Bissonette, Zach Lockett, Nathan Brzezowski, and then the first car on tires, Vincent Loria. He'll restart 10th spot. But down to the Geico restart zone, it is Justin Michael, race leader, 11 laps to go in stage 2. Green flag back in the air. Watch those tires moving forward. Blake Hoppy, he's got some tires as well. He works through on the bottom side. Brian Smith on those tires. Where did he come from? How did he get through that? He is already into 5th spot and is moving now with 10 laps to go in stage 2. How in the world? Hoppy now goes by Bissonette. Loria will follow. Smith can work to the inside of Adam Ball. That's 4th. Gonna work now to the inside of Sean Purcell. That'll be 3rd. What a restart for that 78 car. He did not line up first on tires. Pulls right up to Milfelt, has to check up. There you see the difference in, well, nearly 50-lap tires and 4-lap tires. That is big. Hoppy now squarely in 4th, Loria in 5th. They're going to pull away from the guys who don't have tires. The next car on tires will be Anthony Campbell back there in 12th spot. He could absolutely work by some of these guys. Brian Smith, though, high side, works right by Justin Michael like he's standing still. Hoppy and Laurie will end up being the fight, it looks like, for second in the stage. Onboard car 23. I haven't seen a bunch of this guy. We've seen him at different times. The first time this evening, oh, that was close. First time we saw him this evening was in that caution with the 4-car of Neil. And now, Lorio, oh, he learned something from that incident with Finnegan. He did not throw it clear to the bottom side of the racetrack, stayed back, and works into third spot now. Look at this, into turn 1. This is a mess. Kyle Purcell way down low. That's Clemens in the middle, ball up top. Kyle Purcell here has the new tires. Campbell's got new tires in the 73 car. Sean Purcell has old tires. Kyle Purcell actually might be able to drive into the stage points here. He's got 6 laps to do it. What a mismatch of tires. The big thing for those guys that stayed out under that caution, they've got that extra set. The only way that doesn't work for them is if they end up losing a lap here in these next 4 laps. I don't think that's all that likely. But here is Kyle Purcell trying to drive into stage points. Caution. It is Vincent Loria, second place. At the time of the yellow, the car is still not righted. Evan Pentinko goes for a spin. And this will end stage 2. Brian Smith is your stage winner. And Blake Hoppy is now out of the race. Whoa. Trying to piece this together. I think, don't quote me here, I think Hoppy might have been disconnecting. And through netcode, this ends up spinning the 67. Oh man, Loria trying to get it back going, spun the tires, ball got into Patinko, that sends the 96 through the grass. But that should absolutely be the stage. Kyle Purcell stays out anyway. Brian Smith comes in, he'll work off the pit lane 4th, Anthony Campbell 5th. We'll dial up our stage 2 winner. Brian, maybe not in the way you envisioned the end of the stage going, but a stage win nonetheless. Some big laps there at the end of the stage. 5 laps led. That's got to feel pretty good to stretch your legs.
Yeah, it was a tough call whether or not to put tires on it. I'm kind of kicking myself about it right now just because we got 90 laps here and I only got 2 sets of right side tires left. So we'll see how that goes, but it's always nice to get a stage win.
You say 2 sets of right sides. Only right sides, or do the lefts come with it?
At the end of this stage, I did put only right sides on because we only had about 10 laps on those lefts. So I don't know if that'll come in handy or not, but I wanted to hold on to track position, so I only put right sides on it. Well, we'll see how it goes. I have no experience on 2 tires here, so we'll just have to see what happens.
I like the approach. As maybe a bit of miscommunication there with the 4, but of course that win last week at Dig. Now you're leading laps, winning stages here at Dover. It's looking pretty up for you, even if this gamble on tires doesn't work out. Mid-season definitely coming up, and we're back to the speedways. Kansas next week, then Darlington, Charlotte, Gateway, some places like that. Is there a racetrack in particular that tickles your fancy?
All the road courses, Sonoma, Watkins Glen. Those are what I look forward to the most. So those are definitely the 2 I've got circled on the calendar.
Well, best of luck. I definitely would not be able to do 2 tires at Dover. hopefully it works out. Hopefully the 78 is still in one piece at the end. Hopefully we'll talk to you later.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Brian Smith has the field on lock and leads at the end of stage 2 to take the stage 2 win. Kyle Purcell will restart with the race lead, and technically this would be where the stage would have ended. I think that's actually the 1 to green signal given to the drivers. Plenty more racing coming up the rest of 2024 with us at Pit Stop TV. This is the final broadcast of the month of April. Next up, Cinco de Mayo. We head out to Kansas Speedway for the Icon Cup Series 11th race of the season. I'll have to check the notes. I think it's 160 laps there next week. Then we head out to Lanier Raceway, Caffeine and Octane Lanier Raceway in Brazelton, Georgia, across the street from Road Atlanta, for the final race, the final installment of 2024 Season 1 of the Sarah Pierce Fleet Service Super Series. That's super late models at Lanier. Do not miss that one for the championship between Alex McCullum, Cole Cabry, Jacob Harberts, and Ryan Kuhn. Got a restart coming up. Brian Smith inside, but the race leader is Kyle Purcell on the outside. Justin Michaels third. Anthony Campbell fourth. Green flag back in the air. This is stage 3. Campbell at the racetrack. He falls to 4th spot now. Smith and Michael side by side as we dive to turn 3, and that 87 has looked the best of the bunch, but Brian Smith staves him off and will now fight at the 01 as Michael got free again off of turn 4. Same situation as he had last time when he looped it nearly. And here we go, race lead, Kyle Purcell, Brian Smith. Purcell on the older tires, Smith will drive back by. And car 78. Oh, thought maybe we'd have a side-by-side, but car 78 officially takes over the race lead. Justin Michael third. Anthony Campbell in the 4th spot. The other Purcell brother in 5th. High concentration of twins in the top 5. Now Vincent Loria, out of all of that, stage 1 winner, took repairs under that caution. He is now in 14th position. Those 66 laps led stand out from the rest of the field around him right now. And quite frankly, if I was in his position, I would not like what I see ahead of me. Hey, Kyle Turzak tuning in. Keith Smith grabs the fence. He'll fall back and now fight with Zach Lockett. Lockett trying to shape up with a nice run. 14th now. He moves on by the 11 car. How about Joshua Clemens back into the top 10? It's been kind of hit or miss for the 44 car this season. Maybe a little more of a hit here at Dover. While Anthony Campbell gets passed up by Michael Milfeld Jr., I can't help but notice that we have got a certain driver who is out of the race waiting to talk to us. Hanover Fist, unfortunately, caught out by incident earlier on. Hanover, what happened to you?
I was just trying to hang in there and stay out of trouble. Car down on the inside running slow. I thought he was doing okay, but his car took a hard right turn and came up the track, and that was the end of it for me.
Dover is a really, really big challenge. Do you feel like maybe you're a little more at home at Kansas next week, though? Not at all the chaos of Dover?
Yeah, I'm not a short track guy as it is. The guys here pretty much know that I'm going to be running the high line on these short tracks just to stay out of the way. 1.5 miles and up, then that's my comfort zone.
Is there a racetrack, though, where maybe that 69 goes and fights for a win, and not just Daytona, Talladega? Is there another one maybe in Atlanta where we can expect to see you up towards the front?
Kansas is probably one of my better tracks. I run in other leagues. In fact, I race control and admin in another league, and Kansas is usually in our schedule one of my best races. So I'm hoping to be up there. Well, last week I kept doing my fair share of pushing on the outside, but I just couldn't get lucky. Every time I'd push somebody up, they'd drop in and I'd fall back like a rock. Kansas, I won't do that.
Well, hey, I tell you what, since you're out, since you're in the infield care center, we'll say, is there a driver you've got your eye on to go win this race now? 80 laps to go?
Actually, everybody's been skating a little bit. It's still kind of a high humidity, so the track's still got a little slick to it. But right now, I'm kind of thinking that Brian is starting to get hooked up now, and usually when about this part of the race, when he does, he can usually charge, but I do see he's got company right behind him. I'm kind of looking at those two, because every time I'd look in the relative when I was running in the back, I'd see those names up, saying, we're coming. So, and they seem to have locked up together really well.
Well, Hanover, hopefully we're talking to you under better circumstances here very, very soon. Best of luck.
Yeah, I hope to have a picture of my car doing something other than being involved in an accident.
Well, best of luck, Kansas. I think a good opportunity to turn around. Hopefully we'll see you, like I said, under better circumstances there next week.
Alrighty, appreciate it.
Hanover Fist, unfortunately, out of the race early this evening at Dover Motor Speedway, but good to catch up with him, talk to him for the first time this season. Boy, he's a riot. And Anthony Campbell, slow on the bottom. He'll get passed up by a handful of drivers. There goes Bissonette, there goes Ball, there goes Patinko, and here comes Loria back into the top 10. Somebody mentioned Zach Lockett needing to go faster. He's back here in 14th. Charlie Widener actually pulling up on him. Charlie has played the long game. We talked to him after this incident happened that took him out of this. I think that was the incident with, I think it was Cameron Thompson's incident with the 55, yeah, with Corey Harville. And Widener, innocent bystander, got swept up in it. He's had a great season. He's second in the standings despite no wins just yet. The driver ahead of him and the two drivers behind him each have multiple race wins, and he's up there in second spot in the standings. Most consistent by far of anybody that does not have a win, maybe even of those who do have a win. Trying to fight back through. I thought he was written out of it. Bring that graphic back up. As low as 27th. As there's contact ahead of him. But I really thought the 95 was out of it. He's back in it. 15th moving forward as Campbell goes up the racetrack after contact there. A door slam between himself and the 72. Now Clemens going to try and go by. There's Eldred in the waiting. Zach Lockett. And the 73, man, he is starting to struggle. Oh, contact there. Punching these guys up. Brzezowski looking for a way by. Campbell going to fall back. Now he drops to 12th. Cody Eldridge will be next up to pass him. Meanwhile, Vincent Loria nearly back to the top 5. He goes by the 04 there. That was Sean Purcell. And up ahead, you heard Hanover mention that Brian and Justin, that'd be these two, the 87 and the 78, although in reverse order. Brian's in the 78, Justin's in the 87. It mixes me up. But these two are looking really, really good, and they have all race long. The only driver I'd say has a really solid shot to beat them would be the 67 if he can get back up there. I would have said the 6 of Finnegan for a while. As we've got a caution. Anthony Campbell, Cody Eldred. The riding was practically on the wall. Campbell was trying to keep his race alive. He had stayed out earlier to get the race lead. Did a fantastic job of hanging on as long as he could. Fortunately, this defense kind of ran out. Wow! Whoa, and Lockett gets a piece. Campbell, Eldred, they go down the racetrack. Galadulich even grabs a piece of it. Finnegan will be able to drive on by. Hate that for the 32 of Eldred. Innocent bystander, just trying to get by. And the old school's coins, Chevrolet Camaro, are going to get a little bit beat up. Boom, contact, a slide, a spin. See everybody going every which way. Gladlich. Ooh! Did he miss the inside wall? I think he just got a piece of it. From the 14's perspective. And everybody going to come down the pit lane here. This gets these drivers just around the outside of the pit window. Gladlich trying to miss all of this. Just scrapes the inside wall. Pit stops all over the place. There's Loria down and away. Smith going to win the race off of pit lane, though. And car 78 will take over. Well, I guess keep control of the race. 87 will stay second, then Purcell, Milfelt, not much changing there. Although Bissonette gets a solid run off the pit lane into fifth. And let's think here. So, from 240, that's 40 laps. We have just over 25 to go. That's 60. These guys still have to make one stop. So this isn't quite the money stop of the race, but it gets them all close. In the meantime, with a growing list of drivers who are out of the race, we'll talk to one who was able to dodge being on that list despite an incident down in turn 3. I thought it was going to bring a caution out, but Nathan, no caution when it did happen. What happened to you down in turn 3 from your perspective? Nathan, if you are talking, we don't hear you.
Oh, sorry about that, Andrew. You guys got me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, to be quite honest, it felt like we got run over. Got to go back and watch the replay, but yeah, right front toe link completely destroyed. Finally, actually just got the damage fixed, so fingers crossed we can still salvage something out of this day.
Well, I gotta say, despite the circumstance, it looked real good as soon as you did go a lap down and got down on the bottom side. Suddenly you had some speed. Do you feel like this car is back in the game, though?
Maybe. I mean, definitely not for sure. We don't have the short run speed, but honestly, the damage actually kind of helped us wear a little bit more evenly. In the long run, we were actually quicker than a lot of the field. I was pretty surprised by that. So if we can get a long run to the end, that might really benefit us.
And of course, you're the points leader, so grabbing some points to hold on to that cushion would be a good thing. But how do you look forward to the rest of, I guess, this spring stretch going into the summer? We've got Kansas, then Darlington, Charlotte, Gateway, Sonoma coming up. A very diverse set of tracks.
Yeah, I really like Kansas and Charlotte, especially Darlington too. I mean, I think this car drives great on the 1.5 miles, and they're a lot of fun to race. So really looking forward to the next couple weeks.
Nathan, good to talk to you. Congratulations, by the way.
Appreciate that. Thanks, Andrew.
Missed you last week at Talladega, but a pretty solid reason to miss a sim race for sure. Congratulations to you and the missus, and hopefully we're talking to you later on, maybe in better circumstances.
Thanks, buddy.
Ethan Finnegan, car number 6. He will restart back here at about position number 20. Again, he got married over the weekend, so congratulations to the new Finnegans. And we will go back green here with 65 laps to go. It'll be Brian Smith, your race leader, 78 outside, then 87 inside. That's Justin Michael, then Purcell, Milfelt, and Bissonette. And throw in Loria for fun. Green flag is back out, 65 to go at Dover. Justin Michael caught sleeping a little bit. He gets back by for second spot, but Purcell falls back to 5th, and he's got Bissonette now looking. Patinko grabs a piece of the fence as they complete the first lap from the restart. Justin Michael pulling back up to Brian Smith. The 87 just has such raw speed. I feel like he's controlled himself a lot this season and kind of held himself back. And he's one of the few front runners we have not spoken with. He is just so quick. I gotta believe, if not for the little bits of, when he gets loose out of 4, or maybe just holding himself back, or maybe even the arrow wash, I gotta think he's probably better than the 78. I don't think we've seen the full extent of what this 87 car can do. Bissonette working on 5th. That's Kyle Purcell. 0106. They will battle here off of turn 2. Milfelt, meanwhile, trying to hang on to 3rd spot. That's Loria to the inside, and Loria will, I think, well, maybe not. That pass not complete. A little bit of contact. Trying to get it there, no dice. Loria still working the bottom side. Bissonette down there as well, trying to work the bottom to gain a spot. Milfelt right on his door, grabs the wall that time down the front stretch. And there we go, 60 laps to go at Dover. Loria still held back to the 4th spot. And still no dice. Stuck side by side. Bissonette now pulling up. He's got a front row ticket. On board car 06. He's going to try 3 wide to the bottom side of turn 3. Bissonette says, hello, I'm here. I want 3rd. Contact. Milfelt going to save it. Running out of space, though. 3 wide, and that's going to work out for Milfelt and Bissonette. Loria, the one that falls back out of it. A couple of cars slow. One of them, Clemens. He's on the bottom side. Justin Michael right back up to Brian Smith. I mean, there is racing all over the racetrack right now. You can't go anywhere without a fight. Whoa, here we go. Loria now going to try the bottom side. Nearly 3 wide. Forces the 06 to go up the racetrack a bit. Milfelt able to watch us in the mirror this time. And Loria is going to have that spot. So move him back into the 4th position. And there's fights further back in the top 10. Here we go. Sean Purcell, Evan Patinko using some more of the racetrack. Purcell really was up there that time through the corner. Now going to move low on Patinko. 96 going to try and defend. And that will cut off the exit for the 04. Got the fence though. Brad Delph, Adam Ball, they'll do battle right behind. Justin Michael right up on Brian Smith. This is your race lead now with 55 to go. This is just about within the fuel window that drivers told us about earlier in the day. And Michael got real free that time. Meanwhile, right behind him, side by side, Milfelt finally going to lose that 3rd position. Loria goes by, but something tells me this might not be done. Milfelt going to dive down to the inside, turn 3. Loria gives him the space. And now it might be over. Widener and Lockett, they're fighting back here. This is 11th. Lockett going to win out for now. Eldred there in the conversation as well. And there's Nathan Finnegan, points leader coming into tonight. Remember, he grabs the wall big time. Remember, he comes in as the points leader, but got knocked up the racetrack by the 67 in stage 2. And then held that 67 car up, absolutely changing the result of the stage in one of the cleaner acts of revenge I think you'll ever see on a racetrack. Just got right in the way, took the air away, and left Vincent to deal with it. It was dramatic to say the least, as Evan Patinko now working on defending versus the 72 of Delph. Brad Delph, of course, working on taking the spot away. Contact at a 3. And that is a position gained by Brad Delph. That is good for 8th position. And a ball not far back. Ooh, Patinko got a really good run off the corner that time. Not able to get alongside of the 72 or anything, but definitely a sporty little move out of turn 2 at the very least. And just about everybody on the racetrack now kind of splitting up ever so slightly. Want to give a big nod to those who help us to and from the virtual racetrack. Whiplash Simcans, ATVO, and CC's Business making these broadcasts possible. And of course, a big thank you to the Icon Cup Series and all of you drivers making this series possible as well. .47 laps to go this time by. That is the lead from first and second back to third place. 3 seconds between the 78 of Smith and the 67 of Loria. Kyle Purcell, Justin Bissonette, they fight once again. Sean Purcell, Brad Delph, and how about Zach Lockett and Charlie Widener? Lockett defending on the outside, Widener moving by. Charlie Widener is nearly back into the top 10. And Widener is going to have that spot squarely now. Eldred tries to follow through, can't find the hole just yet. Up front, 45 to go. While we have an opportunity, let's do something that we rarely ever do. Gotta find the graphic for it. Sounds of the Sim here at Pit Stop TV. I'll shut up for a minute, just listen to the cars. Exciting stuff here at Dover Motor Speedway. I hate to interrupt, but what a race we have going. Things unfolding for sure. You saw a lot of it there during that Whiplash Sounds of the Sim interlude, if you will. Nathan Finnegan back to the top 10, position number 6 now. There goes the 96 of Patinko, 3 wide. They almost go. Finnegan holds himself back, and there goes Bissonette on new tires. He pitted during all of that. All of these drivers will have to do so. We might have some green flag stops through the back end of this race. Cody Eldred down and away. He's getting some service. Now, he got the inside wall pretty good. Something happened to him there during that run that we just caught the back end of, but unfortunately, he will fall back. Melfelt working up on Vincent Loria. This is, of course, 3rd and 4th. Finnegan, the 6, he's headed down to the pit lane. And he's not alone. Adam Ball will also come in. So a strategy move there for teammates. Anthony Campbell is in for service. We're getting to that point where these guys have run some 34 laps on their tires. They want to come in, get 4 tires, get fuel, get down and away. Here we go. Leaders in. Vincent Loria, Michael Milfelt. Justin Michael comes in for service in the 87 car. Joshua Clemens comes in this lap. Now, Brian Smith is the odd one out in all of this. He will come down to the pit lane. Very sketchy approach. I did not expect this. Kyle Purcell, he'll stay out. Brad Delph will stay out. Jacob Gladrich will stay out. Patinko, Purcell, Widener, Rakowski, all staying out. But here comes Zach Lockett. Down through the years. Oh, and he missed it. The 93 missed pit lane. Got to do the walk of shame back onto the banking. Brian Smith into his box. He'll pull away here after about 15 seconds of service. Clemens, you see, down and away. So where is Justin Michael? If Smith is getting service there, he's down. Michael is coming up off the banking out of turn 4 now. Brian Smith out of the pit lane. Low on the racetrack. Justin Michael was able to pit 1 lap earlier and get that run. He's now got warm tires. He's going to go low. They're going to crash. A big block from Brian Smith. He will actually get the car back on the racetrack, but a massive hit between those two. Michael pulls away. Smith gets a completely crumpled left rear out of it. That was a big block from the 78. The 87 committed the whole way. Drama between them, and this race is far from over. Patinko down for service. Delph, Lockett, Rakowski. And we still have so many cars yet to pit. They're running later in this stage, later in this run, waiting on a caution. We almost had one. So Kyle Purcell, the race leader as they run. Patinko down through the grass. Gets back on the apron. Purcell, the race leader, yet to pit also is Gladjulich in the 14. How about Purcell in the 04, Widener in the 95, Brzezowski in the 77, then Hersey and Smith all yet to pit. And Anthony Teseo, it looks like. Whoa, Vincent Loria, that was close, pulling up behind Brock Hersey. And Brian Smith, I wonder if damage was done to either one of these cars. He's definitely, that car looks twitchy now. I don't know if that's the driver seeing red or what's going on there for the 78. Obviously, we saw the big contact. Justin Michael, if anything, I would expect him to be slower. He buried the right front and the left rear of that 78 car. That was one of the more shocking moments of the night for sure. Gladjulich now comes in for service. As things stand, the way this will work out is Michael will be our race leader. He now goes by Teseo. Oh, they're going to crash. Teseo and Eldred off the nose of the 87. Caution is out. The Purcell twins able to catch it. Gladjulich misses his box or something. There's Eldred. There's the 15. And if that caution is deemed to be Justin Michael's fault, he will go to the rear and not be eligible for a wave around. He's going to be caught a lap down on top of having the penalty for the caution if that's deemed to be his fault. Let's add a bit to this. Let's go back and see if we can find... Work with me here. I'm going to see if we can find the moment when the 78 came off the pit lane. Here we go. One more time, I promise, and I'm going to fast forward to the point where all of this drama really gets going. So here we go. Brian Smith going to go low, trying to block the 87. Michael runs through him. I mean, I'll leave that up to the viewers. That's 50-50 from my opinion. Then this caution comes out for the 87 being involved with the 15, and I gotta catch up. Hang on, replay on the way. He's catching up to Eldred and Teseo here. Eldred low, Teseo high, and wow. What a job by Brian Smith to miss that. This is from the 87. We'll slow it down. Teseo's high. There's maybe a gap. And Teseo came off the wall a little bit, but that is 100% on Justin to facilitate there and to not run in the back of those guys. And that is really unfortunate. That's going to sweep up both the 32 and the 15 who were just trying to complete these races. We talked to each of these drivers. But then watch the 78 here. Brian Smith going low, right past him. What a catch. What a miss. And replay is done. We can finally catch up to live picture where Kyle Purcell is the race leader. The 87 of Michael has not gone to the back yet. In fact, he's in front of the race leader, but if he goes to the rear here, he would lose the lead lap from the wave around. I think he's going to leave it to race admins. I can't imagine that Teseo would volunteer for that. But maybe. So the 87 will not claim it. And hey, maybe he's not truly at fault. Eldred off the pit lane there. And this will bring all of those guys back onto the lead lap. And there you see our leaders getting formed up. It'll be the Purcell twins, then Widener and Hersey, Brzezowski and Smith, and then Brian Smith will line up back here, and they're all going to be on even footing. We're going to have 20 laps to go, and then you have these guys doing the wave around, led by Gladjulich, then Michael, then Loria. They're all just trying to catch up. The Purcell twins waited and waited and waited. They stayed patient. Just waiting. Wow. And they were about to have to pit. It was getting close. The tail end of the field catches up. Kyle Purcell will lead us into the Geico restart zone. 20 laps to go at Dover. Race number 10 getting dramatic. It's the Purcell brothers in the front row. Green flag is back out. 20 to go. Charlie Widener's back in this race, and he's already into third. He's going to look for second. He had no nose on the car some 200 laps ago. Brian Smith got caught up. These guys are single file. Brzezowski, though, into the inside wall. No caution yet. 3 wide passes him. Loria was in that. He's down low beneath Clemens and Patinko. No incident. We keep going. And these are your leaders. The Purcells and Widener, your top 3. Brian Smith now clear 4th. Brzezowski's going to pit Hersey, sliding in the 24. He's going to clip the racetrack. What a miss by everybody. Kyle Purcell leading. Sean Purcell second. Charlie Widener third. What an insane opportunity for each of these 3. If they can just fend off the 78 with 3 wins, one of these 3 drivers will leave with their first win of the season, maybe of their career. I don't have the full stats on the on any of these guys. They say that, and here comes that 78. The 87 not far behind. Brian and Justin, I'm sure, are going to have some disagreements if they get back to each other. And Justin Michael is moving. So Widener pulling up on the 04 of Sean Purcell. That's going to get held up. Purcell down a lane and a half. And Widener looked to the inside. That got shut down quick. Now Brian Smith on the outside lane. He's going to come off the top side and try to get a run here on Widener. He's there. 15 laps to go, by the way, that last time by the stripe. Off of turn 4. Purcell going to move up and take the arrow. Well, the straightaway helps the 78, but taking the air away a little bit. Purcell, imagine, do the same thing this time to the backstretch. Gets in the way of that 78. He'll get the push, though, into turn 3. Oh, car down low. It's Rakowski. They all crash. Caution. And they're going to keep crashing. Wow. Bissonette, Milfelt. Milfelt's done. Bissonette's done. Justin Michaels got damage. Charlie Widener's destroyed for the second time. Brian Smith. Well, the car doesn't look too bad. Oh, never mind. Wow. It just gets better and better. Gotta go a ways back. Into turn 3. Purcell outside. There was the lap car inside. Oh, man. Did the 33... Well, he was already slow on the bottom. And he went up the racetrack. You just can't have that. You just can't have that. Looks like he was coming off the pit lane. Here comes that battle for second. He misses the bottom, goes up, squeezes them. They could have got by otherwise. And they wadded up on the top side. Loria sneaks through. But then Milfelt gets caught up in it with Bissonette. Absolutely incredible turn of events. They're all checking up. Milfelt, I don't know where you're planning to go, buddy. Oh, no. I say that. The crash, from his perspective, probably looked like it was done. And then suddenly Sean Purcell's skidding down the racetrack. Let's watch it. Stays in it, stays in it, stays in it. That's just less than advisable. Bissonette gets in it. And what a situation we have unfolding. The guy I want to talk to is probably fired up right now. Justin Michael, I anticipate you might be a little fired up. There has been a hell of a 40 laps for you lately. Well, what is going on? How's the car?
The car is junk after Brian decided to wreck me going into 3 after a pit stop. I short pitted him to try to get it back out in front of him, and it was going to work until he just drove me into the apron, so I don't care. I don't know if I'll win the race. Don't know if I'll even finish. The right front has damage. It's got wheel damage, so I'm sure it's got a couple minutes of repair, so I don't know if it'll turn or not. We'll see.
I know you're probably seeing red.
But he wrecked, so it's all good. So he's pretty worthless.
I know you're probably seeing red when that last incident happened. What did you see from your perspective at a turn 3 with the 33 car?
Some lap car, I don't know who it was. You say it was 33, I don't know. He shouldn't even have been there. He just drove up into everybody.
Well, Justin, I gotta say, you had one of the fastest, if not the fastest car on the racetrack from the drop of the green flag. I hate that circumstances be what they are. But best of luck. This has been, like I said, a hell of a 40 laps for you. Best of luck here the last 10.
Thanks.
I appreciate your time. That's Justin Michael. Very, very fired up, and I expected him to be that. Wow, I haven't heard an interview like that on iRacing in a minute. Just gonna let that one marinate. We'll go back green and have 9 laps to go. If you can believe it. I'm absolutely astonished. So Kyle Purcell's the race leader. Justin Michael gonna restart second. Then it's Loria, Delph, and Smith, the top 5. Finnegan 6th. Waiting on the restart zone. Green flag from Purcell. 9 laps to go at Dover. The 01, technically, he's got better tires. And he's going to get turned. Kyle Purcell turned around. The 67 crashed. Bissonette caught up again. And Justin Michael has towed. And he has left the server. This is really unfortunate. Kyle Purcell trying to win his first race. He's down low, doing everything he has to do. Justin Michael, I know he's frustrated. He drove straight in the back of a car trying to go for a win. And we haven't had to have many of these moments yet with Icon, and I love that. I love that we haven't had this kind of thing with what I'm about to say. And I know this will be taken very seriously by the admins. I'm sure Ryan's watching and already not happy with what he's seeing, but that's a shame. I mean, drove in the back of him, didn't lift. I'm not going to say Justin did anything intentionally, because I don't believe he had intent to crash anybody, but he didn't try not to crash the 01. And hopefully it doesn't put me on any kind of list, but I'm going to call it as I see it. I try to be very, very honest, and that doesn't mean that I'm right. It's a shame. Loria gets a bit of damage out of it. Kyle Purcell is all it takes. I mean, he's junk. That's a real big shame. Brock Hersey, Anthony Campbell, they get contact, Rakowski and Eldred. Vincent Laurie is the race leader. Brad Delph is second. Nathan Finnegan, Brian Smith, Jacob Gladulus, the top 5. And it has all come unhinged. Well, I'm not often left speechless, but right now I am a little bit. I just hate that for Kyle. I hate that for the handful of guys that were just swept up in that. That wasn't necessary. Vincent's got some nose damage. He got in the wall pretty good. I wish I had a little more to say about that. I mean, that's a very frustrated driver, I think, just seeing absolute red, likely going to have a cause of caution penalty coming his way. That is just, man. I just hate that for everybody involved. I gotta say, though, we have a hell of a finish set up for us. So long as we don't come any more unhinged. There's 4 laps to go when we go back green. Vincent Laurie, how about that? Mr. Aggressive himself this season, and I mean that in a loving way. Vincent Laurie, a race leader. Brad Delph was a part-timer. He's now second for this restart. Nathan Finnegan has crawled back up here. He's in third. Brian Smith, Jacob Gladulus, your top 5. And Delph is caught sleeping on the restart, but we are back green at Dover. 4 laps to go. Laurie leads us to turn 1. Oh, Finnegan way down the racetrack into 3, comes back up. Here we go, 3 laps to go. It's Vincent Laurie, Brian Smith. We've seen this a little bit this season. I don't know that we've seen it in an outright duel for the win, though. And of course, Brian Smith was in that crash in turn 3 with Luke Rakowski, the lap car. That involved, of course, Sean Purcell, Michael Melfelt. And now 2 laps to go. I don't know if that 78 can get back up there. Nathan Finnegan, though, running the best lap of the race that time. He's on the outside of Brad Delph. He is on some older tires, but he is absolutely humming around the racetrack. He's going to get turned hard on the outside wall. We might get a caution. We might not be done here. Vincent Laurie, it's still green. White flag is out. Joshua Clemens, Jacob Gladulus, they're fighting. That's for 4th and 5th. Brad Delph stays 3rd. Brian Smith 2nd. But out front, Vincent Laurie, your pole sitter, takes the most unconventional route to victory lane I've seen in a long time. He is going to win at Dover. Wow. And where's the 6 of Finnegan? He's going to skid across the line and finish 11th, last in the lead lap. Vincent Laurie, meanwhile, going to grab win number 3. As everything comes unhinged in Delaware. Wow! But again, lets his voice be heard. You see the team burnouts, now including the 78 car, Brian Smith. They've been kind of unofficially working together for a little bit. Well, unofficially, your top three are Loria, Smith, and Delph. And Vincent now going to go in reverse around the racetrack. That's what you call the Polish victory lap, of course, initiated by Alan Kolicki in the 90s. I am just absolutely so blown away still. One of the most dramatic races. One of the most dramatic last 40 laps I've ever seen on iRacing, I've ever seen in real life. I'm sorry I didn't have better, more collected thoughts. I'm just, wow. Blown away. Vincent Loria does that victory lap in park, so let's go through your unofficial race results. Vincent Loria with the win, Brian Smith second, Brad Delph, Jacob Gladulich, Joshua Clemens, your top 5. Adam Ball, Heath Smith, Purcell, Hurst, and Teseo, your top 10. See the rest of the field here. Well, 11th through 20th anyway. Finnegan, Lockett, Bissonette, Eldred. So Lockett and Bissonette. Let's see. Lockett ran pretty quiet, was caught up in those wrecks at the end. Bissonette ran pretty strong early, caught up in the wrecks at the end. Eldred, quiet, had a couple of incidents, fought back, caught up in the wrecks at the end. Brzezowski, very quiet throughout the day, had a problem of his own. Patinko, caught up in one of the wrecks, I believe. Luke Rakowski was already kind of off the pace, so ended up being that lapped car that got in the way into turn 3. Justin Michael, we saw everything there. Anthony Campbell, Michael Milfelt Jr. That rounds out your top 20. The rest of the field. John Purcell out of the race a bit early. We saw that crash in turn 3. That was the one with Rakowski, the lapped car. Charlie Widener, Cody Neal, Kyle Corley, Blake Hoppy. The last 100 laps of this race saw several, probably a dozen retirements. Just small thing after small thing until we got down to the end here at Dover Motor Speedway. An incredible day here, that's for sure, at Dover Motor Speedway. I'm still floored, honestly. We're going to go back, though, and grab our top 3 drivers and talk to each of them and try to see if we can make sense of whatever just happened here at the end. So, oh, the broadcast waiting room has turned into a little more than the broadcast waiting room. But race winner Vincent Loria able to take a 3rd win on the season. Vincent, I think that's the most dramatic 40 laps I've ever seen in any kind of motorsport ever. What was it like from your perspective?
I think that was awesome, man. Obviously, I do have to start by first apologizing to Nathan Finnegan. I got, a little antsy. I saw what happened at Richmond. Guy led the last 200 laps or whatever, so, I tried to jam it 3 wide there, and it was, late, and ended up kind of junking him. He was on track for a good finish still, and then got involved in something on the last lap too, so I just wanted to first start by saying, sorry to him. But no, man, absolutely action-packed there. I had no idea what was going on. I thought on that last wreck, I was through it, and then 87 was in the wall. He came all the way down, took me out, and I guess because it happened after when the initial caution came out, it literally put me all the way back to the front of the field. I'm sure there was a lot of people that were shocked to see that. I know some people in the race chat were asking questions, but I was just as shocked as them. But, the iRacing gods were on my side tonight.
Well, you take what you're given, and I can recite a few different drivers as of late in a few different races I've been privy to. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, and while you were good, you were lucky there at the end. How do we move away from this, though, in the 67 camp and KE Motorsports camp? Kansas is up next, then Darlington, Charlotte, a pretty punishing list of tracks coming up even after Dover.
Yeah, just keep trying just for good finishes. I mean, I made some strategy calls that put me at the back at the start, and I was patient with some things. Obviously, the incident with the number 6 there was not my best show of patience, but the rest of the race kind of backed out of some sketchy scenarios, just trying to keep the car alive, and I think that's my plan going forward. I mean, if I can just stay alive, put myself in an advantageous position, and just be there when it matters. I mean, if I'm rolling around 30th in stage 1, it doesn't matter as long as I'm, in the conversation near the end, or especially, like tonight, late wrecks causing, some jumbled up restarts, people on different strategies, and I guess I just got the best of it. So that's my attitude moving forward.
And Vincent, we've asked this a bunch of times, right? Teammate Cody Neal, he's been so good. Everything keeps going wrong. I know you can only do so much as a teammate, but is there anything you guys can do to help the 4-car get through the bad luck that he continues to have?
Yeah, I don't know, man. He's just got to kind of grind it out. I mean, I had that same bug for I went winless last season. Ended up making it to the Final Four, but still winless. And a lot of those times where I felt fast, I got involved in something, so you just kind of got to stick to it.
Well, Vincent, good to talk to you when it's all said and done, and certainly good circumstances for Team 67. Congratulations, 3 wins. You're leading the series right with Brian Smith, and I know we'll be talking to you a lot more this season. Congrats.
All right, thanks. And one last thing, shout out to my dad for watching me every night. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Dad Loria out in the, is it YouTube I'm sure he's watching on?
Yeah.
Well, shout out to him, Vincent. Congrats.
All right, thanks, Andrew.
Second place will be Brian Smith in the 78 car when it's all said and done. And again, there is a list of probably 10 drivers all in the waiting room and Discord. It's really no longer the waiting room, but Brian, you're able to get out the door of the waiting room real quick and talk to us. Second place this evening. I'm sure, well, you were privy to a lot of the drama there at the end. What was it like from your perspective?
Yeah, I would say that is an accurate description of that chat we had going on there. Lots of drama. I will definitely take some of the blame for it. The way I pulled off pit road, I knew if the 87 got by me, the race was over, and I was very aggressive about selecting the low lane, and I just misjudged it. I wrecked him and both of us, so that was totally my fault. The rest of it was just kind of chaos, and I don't really remember a lot of it, to be honest with you. I have no idea how I finished second, but here I am, and I guess a decent points day out of it.
Definitely a decent points day. I mean, you still got a stage win. You finished second here. Obviously, circumstances and feelings are what they are at this point, but Kansas next week, how do you feel?
I feel really good. I think I'll probably end up winning that one. So I do love Kansas, love ripping the wall. It's a great track. You can kind of run up anywhere you want, really. So restarts are crazy, and it's a lot of fun. Definitely a true driver's track.
Well, through it all, I love calling the shot. That's good stuff, Brian. Congratulations, P2. After all that happened, basically a win. I know we'll be talking to you a lot more this season, so we'll see you then.
Yeah, again, I want to apologize to the 87, and cool to finish right behind Vinny after he pushed me to win at Dega. So great job with the broadcast, and great job for the most part tonight keeping it green, and hopefully less drama next week at Kansas.
There you go, Brian Smith, 60 laps, led a stage win, second place, and he'll get out of here with a solid haul of points. Now, we were going to grab Brad Delph. Unfortunately, I no longer see him in the League Discord channel. We'll call an audible, and we'll grab somebody that I think we would have been talking to otherwise, Kyle Purcell. I can only imagine what there is to say after that, but what can you say after that race?
Well, I don't want to get myself in trouble, but I have been informed that if you're not used to running at the front and you're not as fast as the person behind you, you need to get out of the way, which I don't agree with. So, unfortunately, we wrecked, got a decent finish because we trapped a bunch of people a lap down with the long pit strategy. So at least the pit strategy worked out because I knew, obviously, there was 4 or 5 cars that were definitely faster than me no matter what. So I figure if I follow them to the end, I have no chance. And I want to give myself a chance. So that pit strategy worked out. Led the laps I could. Unfortunately, the faster cars got to me, and unfortunately, one of the faster cars, he didn't want to try to go around me. So it is what it is.
Well, up until about 7 laps to go, something like that, it was looking to be, it still was a decent night, but it was looking to be a really, really good night for the 01. Like you said, you put yourself in position. How do you try and, I guess, keep doing that? It seems like you did that at Texas 2 weeks ago, the last speedway race we had. You do that again here this evening. Is that a trend you're trying to continue? Just put yourself in position at the end with tire and fuel strategy?
Yeah, that, and just in general, especially with no fast repairs. And this is how I got to where I am in iRating, even though I'm usually one of the slower half on the track in officials. If you just race clean and you don't push anything when it doesn't make sense to, you just survive, have a clean car, maybe play some strategy, you'll get a lot of consistently solid finishes. You're not going to win a lot of races, and I don't, especially in a league like this with a few people that are really, really good. But yeah, it's just sometimes other people's decisions don't line up with your own, and you know, all I could do was get a good restart and pray they either wreck behind me or race each other. But once it kind of single filed out there on that last run, I knew they'd get to me, and when they did, it was over. So
like I said, I figured we would have been talking to you if not for that. Well, at least we're still talking to you. I wish it was under better circumstances for you. 8th place, still not bad. 29 laps led. Certainly something to build on. Hopefully we'll talk to you a lot more this season.
Yep, thank you. I appreciate it.
Kyle Purcell gave it his all this evening. Fruit snacks there on the side. What a wild, wild race. Oh my gosh. I'm astonished still. Just unbelievable stuff there at the end. I know optics-wise, it's going to look bad at first, but here I am to kind of back clean up. This league has given us some of the most dramatic moments in 10 races in the best of ways. And I mean that honestly. I'm not just saying that because, well, they hire me to do these broadcasts. I really have thoroughly enjoyed these races. And tonight I was a little more caught aback by everything. I'm still trying to process what we saw on the racetrack, and I'd imagine everybody else is as well. Just what an incredible way for this race to be wrapped up. I'm just blown away. I really am. Some really big moments. A really, really clean race until it wasn't. And even then, still really clean racing for the most part from most of the field that we had. Certainly those exceptions to that rule, I suppose, where one incident or another incident wasn't as clean necessarily. But as we look through part of the grandstands there in turns 1 and 2. Still, what a race, and we have a lot more to look forward to here with the Icon Cup Series. Next up, we head out to Kansas Speedway, 160 laps. Next week, unfortunately, we'll have to miss Darlington on Mother's Day, but we're hoping to be back for Charlotte on Memorial Day. It's Gateway as we enter into June, then Sonoma, Iowa, New Hampshire. I mean, a bunch of fun racetracks coming up, and excited. I really am. I'm not just saying that because I'm here. Genuinely am excited. I know that was again a lot of drama, but that's the good drama. I think a little bit of the bad drama mixed in there. Don't know what else to say. Really good racing regardless. It just kind of came unhinged at the end. Definitely tempers flaring, and we'll be able to reset, come back at it next week. Admins definitely have their work cut out for them. And we'll move on to the next one. Next one being Kansas. Of course, we do have those Sarah races coming up as well. Linear Raceway, May 9th. North Wilkesboro Speedway for the 1-8 Coffee Company National Tour on May 16th. And that's about that. I want to give a big shout out to our partners with the channel. Of course, Whiplash Media Simcams, ATVO, CC's business would not be possible without that bunch. And, of course, a big shout out to birthday boy, Zach Murtis. Yesterday was his 23rd birthday. Unfortunately, not here this evening. Hope to have him back again very soon. But what a race again. I can't say that enough. Incredible stuff at Dover in positive and negative. I'm still... Race 10, the highlight reel. For 240 laps for sure. We had strategy. We had green flag pit stops. We had drama here, drama there, and all for points when it's all said and done. But again, a big shout out to our partners there on the left side of the screen. A big nod to the Icon Cup Series for having us here. It's a pleasure as always. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV. A big nod as well to In Audio, ATVO, Whiplash, SimCams, and OBS, and iRacing.com, allowing these broadcasts to be possible. That is it from Dover Motor Speedway. We'll see you all next time. Kansas up next.